Hello, everyone, and welcome to this a special episode of Perils and Possibilities. Not a Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Chronicle. Today, as you might have noticed from our layout, we're doing something a little different. As mentioned previously, we do have another campaign which is going to follow the D&D campaign, but we will touch on that in a moment. With me today...
Hi, my name is Dean. Usually I play a forest gnome called Drainog, but I'm looking forward to getting stuck into Farsight. I'm not a huge fan of the sci-fi side of things, but I'm looking forward to see what people come up with.
Me? Hello, my name's Ryan. I usually play a Dwarven Paladin of Vengeance, Philip Clydesdale, and I like space. I like space. It's fun. It also terrifies me, but it's fun.
And I'm Josh. I'm more scared of the ocean than space. I think the ocean is a horrifying thing. But I am normally playing Dagala, irritating Way of the Open Hand monk. And a bit like Dean, I'm not much of a sci-fi guy, so I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to be playing with today.
So, no pressure on me. The fact that 2 out of the 3 people already with me have opened with the fact they don't like sci-fi.
Not that we don't like it, but I'm more fantasy than sci-fi if I had a choice.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I love myself some... So, I'll follow up on that in a second. But the main, for those that are joining us, and those that are going to join us later and watching the VODs back and engage with us on Discord, hopefully. Basically, what Farsight is it is a 5th edition variant system that covers sci-fi, inspired by things like Mass Effect, by loads of different other kind of sci-fi properties, but it's a generic kind of sci-fi engine that you can use to run things. Because it's quite similar to 5th edition D&D, it was a good system to look at doing because it's going to be quite familiar with tweaks and changes, but it's quite familiar to 5th edition D&D, so people wouldn't have to kind of join either to play or watch it, learning a brand new system that has absolutely no similarities to what we're doing in Perils. With regards to the reason why we're kind of plugging this early, because this isn't going to take place until after the D&D campaign that we're currently going through, and we're only 20 episodes in, is actually going to finish. However, as these guys are well aware, because I mention it to them all the time, and I'm surprised they haven't thrown something solid at my head at this point by me saying it, is that I like sandbox games. I don't linear games. I like to create a world, create stories in it, have characters going on, have characters and stories that progress of their own accord without PC involvement, and then let the party go wild in it, and then see what kind of things they engage with, and then let their own stories kind of take fold. That's hard enough to do in D&D in a single realm. Now in a galaxy, which I am challenging myself to take a similar approach to, insofar as I can, without driving myself mad, that is my aim. So in order to kind of get the most preparation time and give these guys the greatest opportunity to get characters in early so I can integrate them into things that go on in the background, and to give potential audience and future viewers a chance to integrate with or give ideas for what they'd like to see in a sci-fi. I want to plug it a bit early and give myself maximum time to kind of work on it. So the aim of that for today is one, to give you guys a brief oversight of how the rules might differ a bit from D&D, just so you can see the similarities, but also how it differs. Give these guys a chance to actually get their characters made, so at least I've got 3 character sheets early on that I can work with for now. And also to give anyone that might join us today, and anyone that might join us later in Discord, a chance to either answer some questions that we might come up with and pose to people, or put in their own questions or their own favorite influences from sci-fi on that genre, or even not sci-fi, because if it can work for another genre, I could always see how it can be incorporated in sci-fi. Because let's face it, Star Wars, one of most people's favorite thing, is basically a traditional fantasy story about, I mean, Leia's not a damsel in distress, but the whole setup for that is a good guy, bad guy, have to rescue a princess and overthrowing an evil king or an empire. That is Star Wars. It's just been repurposed. So there's no reason why, if people have favorite fantasy stories and stuff like that, it can't be repurposed for that reason. But yes, we're all coming into this. We're all going to give it a go. I'm determined that one way or another, I'm going to get these guys at least invested in this story, if not sci-fi in general. So that's my additional challenge. So yeah, one of those things I mentioned is inspirations for people. A lot of people might be wondering the kind of sci-fi inspirations that we're going to initially kind of draw on, because obviously I'm going to use my own kind of inspirations. Go on, Josh.
Just a couple of quick announcements.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yes, sorry. Just to, because we do need to mention. Obviously, today is Tuesday the 31st. This Sunday coming is the 5th of April. It is Easter Sunday. Because of that, and a lot of people have travel plans, we've decided that this stream is going to effectively replace that one. So if you normally watch us for D&D and the normal campaign stream, that won't be on this Sunday coming, but it will be back the Sunday after, which I wrote in Discord earlier, the 12th. We'll be back doing the main campaign on the 12th. And we'll probably put this VOD out as well on YouTube and Spotify, just on different playlists and things like that, so people can just dip their toes in if they're curious.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to get that. Also,
no, that's all right. To be honest, I'm just just used to our normal framework, so as soon as we came off of that, I just ran rampant.
Also, don't forget, we are still sponsored by the Rogues Retreat. They're a brilliant company who sell some really, really nice dice, really nice accessories, artwork, and you can get 10% off. And plus, they're relatively cheap anyway. They're not super expensive. They got a really, really competitive pricing. So if you go to www.theroguesretreat.co.uk and use the code PERILS at checkout, you get an extra 10% off of what's already pretty low pricing. That's it from me, I promise. I'll shut up now.
So, no, please don't. You were right to interrupt me, because like I said, I'm off script today, so I'm kind of like all over the place. Dean, before I start rambling like a crazy man again, over to you.
Yeah, so if you go to perils.uk, that'll redirect you to our Discord, and that's where we chat about the main show, where we'll be chatting about this, but we also post a lot of different artwork and projects that people are into. What I'll probably do is create a little space specifically for Farsight, so we can start building some stuff there, get some different ideas together for character influences and story arcs and things like that. So yeah, come and join us on Discord.
Yes, please do. Especially in the lead into this, because as I mentioned, one of the reasons for doing this early is to get viewer input, so you can help give ideas and tweak things and stuff. And the best way to do that, if you're not ever able to watch us live, is Discord. You've got them. Oh, you're muted, Josh.
Thank you very much for the follow, Old Greg 143. Hugely appreciated, and also love the name, Old Greg. Can I play Old Greg?
No.
Is there an Old Greg sort of species?
No.
Frog.
Oh, come on.
So
You ever drank Bayless from a shoe?
So
Yeah,
for those that are
slip through
unfamiliar,
the
Old
filter
Greg is
of
coming
the
from
nebula.
a series called The Mighty Boosh. If you do want to watch that reference online, it's wacky. Be prepared.
It's the best.
So, yeah, it's certainly memorable. So yes, apologies guys for derailing us that much. Like I said, one of the big things is to get inspiration from folks. Personal inspirations for this, which is kind of a big draw for some of the people that I've pitched this to, is if you like things like Mass Effect, where it's very much a kind of new galaxy and humans getting involved in local kind of politics and stuff like that, and the rest of it, it's a good starting point. But whilst Mass Effect is a big influence, it's not going to be the only one, and people can help to mold what it's going to be by giving early input, and I'll be getting input from these guys as well. and do my best to kind of accommodate the kind of stories that I, from experience, know they kind of are drawn to. So the kind of things that they like in fantasy and stuff that's the intention to kind of try and incorporate in the sandbox setting, and then they'll find their own kind of mayhem. I mean, we've got Josh. It's going to go wacky. It's going to go crazy.
Excuse me, Ryan's here.
Do you know what? This will probably be the time where Ryan plays the straight man.
I've got a really serious character lined up.
There you go.
A serious frog.
Yes.
Yeah, serious. serious
But see, we say this, Josh, right? His original character, the ones that we originally saw, was a very, very straight, normal kind of character, quite a serious character. And then he's played in Philip. For you,
Okay,
He was
you
a
are
very
a
serious.
goblin.
He had a very serious character, and then he rolled his stats and got a 4 in intelligence. And
Well, he got a 5 in intelligence and dropped it down by 2.
Yeah, because I thought that's funnier.
yeah.
Yeah. And you actually had a decent lore reason for why. It was
Philip is on the same level of intelligence as the standard sheet for a dog in 5e.
Oh my god.
full golden retriever energy.
A good chunk of the beasts are smarter than Philip.
I buy that.
He,
100%.
but he has a very good in-law reason for why that is, so which ties in. So I'll give a bit of an idea about Farsight and how the system is similar and how it is different from D&D, just so that people have kind of got a context, and then we're going to have a look at the character creation and some other stuff. So like I said, it is very much based on 5th edition. So the biggest difference for people is that instead of rolling a d20 for your normal tests, instead for this one you roll 2d12. That's probably the biggest difference. It's still very much, you've got abilities, you've got classes, classes level 1 to 20. But unlike D&D, where you kind of get your skills and then they're cemented, and that's kind of it, and they progress as you reach thresholds. In this one, when you level up, you get a number of points which you can kind of allot to allocate to either increasing attributes or allocating points to skills. So if the character has spent most of the level learning how to use particular firearms, been learning or studying and watching somebody else pilot their freighter or their ship, they can, when they level up, put points into that.
Is it kind of like the Fallout system?
Yeah, very similar to that. In that there's I mean, I don't want to. There's a little more freedom in where you're allocating things. So you're not kind of got your skills set, and then you're pretty much stuck with them until you get a feat or an ability that gives you more.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much when you level up, you get these points, you allocate these points however you want.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, the costs can change as you're raising them, but after you've created your character, your experience can tailor where you're spending these points. So like I said, we could have a character that starts with no combat skills or very little combat skills, is never really involved in violence, goes off with this group, gets dragged into all this mayhem by Josh, and then has to learn how to defend themselves. So they spend role-playing time and experience learning all this, and then they start allocating those skills.
To be fair to Josh, if anyone has seen our holiday specials, where I typically play Dancing Bard, you'll see that it's not just Josh that causes a bit of chaos. I think the thing was, Dean. Me and Josh, for some reason, always end up sitting opposite each other at the table, and so every now and again, like, one of us will say something, or someone around the table will say something, and me and Josh will just kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
That kind of knowing smile.
It's dangerous for us to play together.
Yeah.
Dangerous for you to play with Callum on most of the other table as well, Josh.
Callum's
I'm not picking on you without reason.
Callum's a good boy now. He's sensible and everything, you know.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he really? Okay.
Yes, he is.
So anyway, back to the example. So it's 2d12. It's the same as before. So it's a case of you roll your dice, you add your ability. If you've got a skill, you add it to that. If it equals or beats a target number, you succeed. If it rolls under, you fail. So similar to the DC and the way that the D20 tests work in D&D. Where this one differs is, obviously, you haven't got a natural 20 or a natural 1 necessarily to get. So where this differs is, if one of your dice is a 12 and you succeed on a test, the value of the other die becomes a number of exploit points. And you can allocate, or you can use a table where it gives you examples of how those points can be spent, and then you can enhance the action you've done. So in combat, you can hit harder, or you might give yourself an extra kind of maneuver or something like that in combat. Things like that. If you get a natural 1 on one of those dice and you fail the test, then you get a setback. So it works as your kind of critical success and your critical fail. The other kind of big differ, and this is where we want to try and somehow incorporate this to audience involvement in the future, is through the use of these, which are edge cards. So in this system, you do not have heroic inspiration like you do in D&D. Instead, each player through each session can get up to 3 of these edge cards. And on these edge cards are sentences. So you can't necessarily read them on the camera. It's a bit blurry. But I'll give you 2 examples. Something that seems to continue actually ends. Someone behaves in a strange, unusual, or ambiguous way. So when players get these, they can choose to spend them in order to influence the scene in a way which ties into one of the sentences. They might need to, depending on how fitting it is, work with the GM to determine how that's going to work. If they don't want to use either sentence, they can instead burn the card, get rid of it entirely without using the sentences, and it just gives them advantage on the roll. And that's how it can work. Okay. Advantage and disadvantage works the same in this, apart from instead of rolling 2d12, you roll 3d12, and you either pick the best 2 or the worst 2. And that's largely it. So the other main difference, and this is going to tie into what we're doing, is there's not an abundance of classes in this, whereas in D&D you've got all of them. Instead, you have 3 classes, but how they work is that you have core abilities for each one, but then every other level you get to choose something called a talent. And talents are like class abilities in D&D. So sneak attack, for example, class ability. Rage, class ability. And when you reach that level where you choose a talent, if you've got the skills and the attributes to meet the requisites for that talent, you can choose it. So you could have a character that can rage and sneak attack, and or have things that go towards being more of a natural leader in combat to help other people and buff them. You can have a kind of talent tree which makes you more proficient when you're piloting, because these starship combat in this is going to be very interesting. I actually like what I've read from this, and it's
how the hell are we going to do that?
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But
it's enough of a headache just trying to make these.
There's talent trees for everything. So the 3 classes, and the reason I'll touch on these is because we're going into character creation too, is you have the Delta, which is more of the action-orientated character. You have the Sigma, which is more of a multi-skill kind of, the one that works more on skills and being able to use skill checks and the rest. Then you have the Psi, which is the character which has psionic abilities. So those are your 3, and then you customize them with talents as you level up. So they become very versatile. Between that and you being able to allocate points to what skills you want that your character uses, 3 classes actually goes quite far. So, any questions from you 3 before we jump in and have a look at some of the characters and stuff?
Let's look at Ryan's frog.
Okay. So, in order to kind of, because I will preface this by saying, as much as I am a massive sci-fi fan, and as much as I do love this book, and I've been backing it and the rest of it since it's come out, I have not run this before. I am familiar with it in terms of that I've been reading it through, but there is obviously a bit of a learning gap, so just bear with me. If I get something wrong, it's because obviously I just gone past it in the sake of efficiency, or I've just missed it. But before the actual stream ever occurred, I am intent on learning this fully. So just as a preface. So we'll go through steps together for character creation. I know some of you have had a chance to have a look through some of the ancestries of the species for the characters, and you've got some ideas in mind. You've also got some classes in mind and stuff like that. which is great. So we'll go through steps, and then as you get something, just go through your thought process and stuff, and it'll give us a chance to kind of tweak and or get some notes down on my part. So, building blocks of your character. This is probably the one that's going to throw most people off. You do not have the standard array, the 6-figure array from D&D. You don't. Some of the names will match, but not all of them. So you don't have strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Instead, you have you have
How dare you?
You know what I meant. You have combativity, which represents your aptitude for combat, the ability to exploit physical and tactical skills to prevail in battle. This kind of replaces your proficiency bonus in terms of your ability to make attacks, and when you use strength and dexterity in D&D, that's instead replaced by things like combativity. So other attributes will influence how hard you hit, but combativity is your ability to actually make those strikes hit.
What if none of us intend to hit anything, Tidus? What if we just wish to be
pacifists?
Pacifists,
I don't see that lasting long for you, because as soon as you get the option to play something barely resembling a monk that has stunning strike, you will go for it.
I resent that.
You will, correct me if I'm wrong, you will. Then you also have strength, which is obviously more familiar, represents muscular strength and build, physical endurance and power, the ability to tolerate physical stress and to exploit athletic skills. With dexterity, represents agility, speed, fluency of movement, coordination and motor accuracy, sense of balance and quick reflexes. Perception, which represents senses acuity, attention to detail, the spirit of observation, as well as general awareness of the surrounding environment. Intelligence represents acumen, inventiveness, wit, and mental clarity, and also the ability to analyze, reason, learn, and memorize. That one's worth keeping in mind, because obviously what wisdom and intelligence represent are two different sides of mental acuity in D&D. With this one, it's kind of rolled into one. Will, which is kind of your replacement for charisma. So this represents the strength of personality, self-control, self-confidence, determination, temperament, as well as social and interpersonal skills. And last of all, tech. Represents your technological aptitude, affinity, and technological preparation, the ability to use, understand, and interface with machinery and technological devices. So, for character creation, from what I recall, these ability scores will range on a scale of -1 to 6. At character creation, the highest you can go is 4, but there is room to kind of develop them as your character goes on. In order to interpret what these scores are, you'll each roll 3d6 7 times, and that will give you a score that translates to a score between -1 and 4. Based on a table that's in the book. So for Josh, that's page 8.
Yep, it's up.
Yep, fantastic.
Everyone can see it.
Amazing. So on that table, we have the 3d6s. You will roll all 7, and you will choose where they go. If you've got any questions pertaining to any of these, so that you get a better idea of where you want to allocate them, ask away. They are all useful in some shape or form. Obviously, if you are planning on being more of a tanky delta and stuff, it might just be worth you buffing the ones that are going to pertain to that. But all of them are useful, and you will have a chance every level to potentially increase some of these or some skills. So again, you're not tied in.
Okay.
So we'll start with that first step, guys. So I need 3d6 7 times.
Right,
so
Ryan, you're prepped. You go first, mate.
Yes. Go ahead, Ryan. You're muted.
I realised I was muted and I couldn't find I couldn't find the cursor. Where it gone? Okay, I'm gonna roll these now.
Yep.
You're gonna watch me how terrible I am at quick maths.
Just shout the numbers out
with very small numbers. That is 9.
9. Okay.
9.
9.
Okay, so that's 2 1s then.
Yep.
Cool. Just gonna...
that is 6.
6 is a 0. That's fine.
11.
11. Okay.
Stay over here.
So 14.
Okay.
Happy with that. How is that? A 5. 6. That's a 13.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
One more. Oh, that's a 17.
Oh, lovely.
I was
Right,
it was 2 6s and a 5.
Oh, no,
I was so sad because I saw those 2 6s. I was like, oh my god.
So in the big thing on this is that you don't have ability scores and you don't have ability modifiers. You have your ability scores are your ability modifiers and vice versa. So it's rounded into one thing. So when you've got a 1, a 0, a 1, a 2, 2, and a 3, that is the equivalent of a +1, +1, +0, +1, +2, +2, +3.
And that's a bit easier to follow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it means that you don't have to. You're muted again, right?
I muted myself to talk because I forgot.
Forgot how that works.
I was going to say, which in terms of D&D, are actually it's quite a good spread of scores. I'm quite happy with that.
So that's the equivalent of you having, a 12, 13, a 12, 13, a 10 or 11, 12, 13, a 14, 15, 14, 15, and a 16, 17.
That's pretty good. It's pretty, it's
And
pretty
this
sweet,
is before you've actually improved them potentially from species and things like that. So, these are good scores. So we've got that for right.
Actually, we'll roll them first, and then we'll talk about allocation.
Yes, because you are free to allocate them as you want. Obviously, with this, I think obviously there's not going to be an up and down kind of thing that we normally do in D&D. But if you wanted to, I will still allow for a mulligan if you dislike them. But obviously, you have to keep the new ones. So that's not a bad spread, but you could potentially get better. It's entirely up to you.
I was going to say, I'm really happy with them. It's a nice spread of some high ones and some low ones for a bit of spice.
Yes, and it's also worth keeping in mind. Well, you've got no negatives, so but it's
it can't be that bad.
Well, to give you an idea, 1 represents the common human average. So you've got 1 that's slightly less than human average, but not enough to be a detriment. Is the way it's looked at. It's worth noting as well, guys, that because you've got 3d6, you haven't got 4d6, you are more likely to have middling totals for these 3d6 because you haven't got that 4th one to burn off. But again, most of the average value you get is the human average of 1. So you're not at a detriment unless you get a natural 3, which is that's when you start taking negative scores. Anyway, so let's go to Josh now. Let's get Josh's skills.
All right then, let's do it. So 3d6. Ooh, that's a 5. So that's a 0.
5. Yep, that's a 0.
1, 1, 3. It did look good for a second, seeing what you just said about negatives. That's an 8. So
8.
A 1.
Okay, that's a 1.
Nice. 2, 2, 5. So that is 9. That's another
9.
1. D&D, I always roll so well for stats, but
This is how D&D used to be. D&D was just 3d6 for your attributes.
it's 12. Oh, 2.
12. Very nice.
Okay. 6.
That's a 0. That's fine.
Another double oneer. Okay. How many left? 2.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit better. That's 14. 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 2.
Last one. Come on. Oh, 6, 6, 1. 13. 2.
Fantastic. That's another 2. Very nice.
Okay, cool. We'll take that.
So you've got there a 0, 1, 1, 2, 0, 2, 2. So you've got 3 attributes which are above the human average, 2 which are the human average, and 2 which are just under the human average.
We'll take that. I think that's a nice spread.
Yes. I will explain how things can be improved later on, just to give you some context about the level up process, but we'll cross that bridge in a bit. So Dean, over to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this one over on Discord because I've got a little thing set up over there for doing rolls. So, first is A 10.
So that's
10.
1.
Very nice.
Actually, just copy and paste this, shouldn't I, rather than retype it every time.
Hindsight's a
9.
bitch.
9. Okay, that's another one.
An 11.
That's
Okay.
another one. Are you playing just a human, Dean? Because 111 so far.
No. A 10. Humans are
Yes.
boring.
1.
He's playing an alien disguise, Hugh man.
Ooh, a 16.
Ooh, very
A
nice.
5, a 5, and a 6.
Very nice. That's a 3.
That's really
I have
tickled me.
A 15.
Very nice. That's another 3.
Why is that got me so much? Sorry.
And then an 11.
Very nice. So you've got a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, a 3, a 3, and a 1.
A
That's
1.
a very nice spread.
What did you say? Sorry. A 1, a 1.
So you've got 5 1s and 2 3s.
Ooh. Okay.
So that's
That's
very
pretty
nice.
good. That's pretty good.
Yes.
That's
So-
very nice.
Obviously, to give you context on this, so what you normally have, obviously I'll double check this, but your attributes and your skills can go up to 6 as a maximum each. So when you'd make a check, you would roll your 2d12, you would add your attribute, and you would add your skill. So a potential bonus of plus 12 in total. And then obviously you add that to your roll. So in the context of this, if you're trying to do a skill that you haven't done before and you've got your 3 in your attribute, roll 2d12 and add your 3 to it and equal or beat the DC or the target number. So we've done those. What we will do, just to give you an idea for skills, when we do basically allot them and get them ready, the maximum you can have for a bonus initially is +1. So if you get it from multiple sources, it needs to be allocated to another one.
Okay.
When you level up, you get a chance to increase them. Okay.
Sweet.
So the next step will be species.
Oh, this is the one everyone wants to know, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Yes, it is. Okay, so species, if we can jump to that in the book.
Yep.
I haven't got a page number for it. Let me just...
Already on it. Page 10.
Amazing. Okay. Page 10. Scroll. Right, so the way that species work in this is obviously similar to D&D. It gives you kind of an overview on their peculiarities, their attitudes, kind of naming conventions, the appearance and stuff, which obviously can fuel the players for when they come up with the information. It also gives them a type, gives them an age to give them an idea about the maturity and how long the member of that species traditionally lasts for, gives them a height and a size, gives them a walking speed. In this, it's in meters as opposed to feet. Which is probably easier for us, but probably more confusing for people that are used to feet from D&D and stuff. It also will improve 2 of your ability scores. So the scores that you've now got we need to get assigned before you get your species in place, or in tandem with getting your species in place, because that'll improve. You also get 2 skills from lists that they provide. And it gives you some other abilities. What it also includes is the languages that your character can speak, because language is big in sci-fi. There is a way to get around that with some tech that you can get to understand other species. But being able to converse in a galaxy full of other species is an important thing. It also gives you resting. And this is a way that they differ a bit from D&D. You need to have a long rest within a period of time for your species. So some species can go absolutely ages without needing a long rest before they start accruing exhaustion. Some species have less than 24 hours and they need to have a long rest in that period.
Frogs.
Otherwise they start accruing exhaustion. Yes, is I think one of them. But they also have their own benefits. So each species feels very different. As we go to each species, if everyone's got one in mind, we'll on the screen jump to that species art just to give you a kind of a visual reference. And next to the art is kind of the traits that species gets. So we'll go through that. So again, we'll go in the same order. So Ryan, have you got one in mind?
The species. Yes, I. It's been hinted at, I think, heavily during the stream.
Just once or twice.
Frogs. I've been looking at the Jiraxi, which is on page 21.
Thank you.
They are basically humanoid frog people, kind of
like lizard froggy type things.
Lizard, sort of like a cross. They look like a cross between like a real like rainforest lizard or frog. You know, with the stripes on their back, so you know if you lick it, you're gonna have a really good time.
They kind of like gecko look to them.
Yes, gecko. That's a really good observation.
What it might just be worth doing, just for each one that you guys chosen, the information that's on the other page. If you want to kind of give a summary or just read through what's there, just so that people at home can kind of get an idea of the thing you're playing and how it might, differ from D&D races and stuff like that.
So when I was reading this before, they come from a very, like it says here, hot and humid planet covered in marshy swamps and lush jungles. As they've evolved as a species, it seems very much that their planet has become super heavily reliant on tech, and it's almost like the entire, from what I can gather reading, it's like their entire planet has become one massive city, with a little bit of jungly and marshes in between them, but it's all the buildings seem to be made from very natural materials. Like it's almost bioengineered buildings, like they've grown giant trees and mushrooms into buildings.
Sick.
Which I think is a really cool aesthetic, even in sci-fi, because that feels really fantasy to me. Like the idea of like you would go to a great elven city and they've weaved the trees, but like in a sci-fi you don't really see that. It's normally like big concrete structures and steel and things, which are impressive. But the idea that a species has harnessed the land itself to become its own tech, it's like biotech, I think is really
almost
interesting.
More sort of like tribal in a way.
There's a tribal element to it. Well, it does say something about tribes at some point within it, somewhere on that sheet.
There's a lot of information there.
Yeah,
there is, and obviously it's just to kind of give people a kind of overview and stuff. And the thing that's kind of drawn you to the character or that particular species. Obviously, there's going to be a lot working in, and we got a lot of time to do it. And players will, after they've made their characters, have a lot of time to work all this into some sort of background. It's just to give people an impression rather than just showing art and being like, this is what I'm playing. So from being a Jirachi, you've got your type is humanoid. Jirachi reach maturity around 10 years and rarely exceed 80 years of age. Average height of a Jirachi is 1 meter or a little more, and your size is classed as small. Your base walking speed is 7 meters. Additionally, you have a swimming speed of 7 meters. So you're going to go through water a lot quicker than most of the others. Your perception and your tech scores, once you have allocated your initial kind of array, will both go up by 1.
Nice.
Also, you get to choose from 2 skills from this list, and that list is Cunning, Mystification, Reflex, and Trading. So, what I will do is, whenever we come to skills and stuff, because I've got the book.
Oh, very nice.
Another list.
Can't go wrong with a nice hard copy.
Yeah, special. Well, I always try and buy a hard copy as well. So if you get to any skills and stuff that you kind of want a description of what it means, just let me know and I can kind of grab it.
So, not training, trading.
Trading?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Ba-ba-bum. So, trading. Where are you in this book? The one downside of actually having a physical book as opposed to a... so, you're thinking trading, eh?
No, I was just... I'd written the wrong thing. I'd put training down.
Training?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No.
So when I looked up, I was like, "What the hell does that say?" But the The one I am actually interested is what is I can sort of work out the others. Mystification.
Mystification's interesting.
Mystification is a tech skill, so it's paired with the tech ability. It's competence in creating disguises, counterfeits, forgeries, and similar artifacts. It concerns disguising oneself or others, forging both physical and electronic documents, and also includes knowing how to encrypt or decrypt information.
That's not what I thought it would have been, honestly, the name of
This is why it's worth me reading these out. So I've got the skills page ready, so I can jump in and do it. Obviously, mystification, most people would think, oh, that's some sort of mystical thing, but that's covered under its own kind of skill set.
Yeah.
So it's always worth double checking just before we allocate the skills, because as we've said, this is new ground for all of us, which is exciting, but it also means that we need to double check stuff. Also, in D&D, saving throws are something separate that you create. You work out a character creation, and then it slowly evolves over time. Saving throws in this are skills. So if I call for for example, particular saving throw, reflex, I believe, is one of them. So reflex represents the quickness of reflexes and the ability to react quickly to instant stimuli, such as sudden dangers and other unexpected events. So if I ask for a reflex check, which is your saving throw, it's your skill which will factor into that. It's not a separate thing.
Right, okay, so it'd be like, give me a stealth saving throw or an animal handling saving throw instead of just a dex. So it'd be specialized.
It's normally basically if it's a skill which I prompt you for, it's normally a saving throw. If it's one that you do as something that you're actively trying to do, like obviously stealth or hiding or something like that, then it's just treated normal. But they both function essentially the same. You roll your attribute, you roll your 2d20, you add your attribute, you add your skill, you compare that to a target number. So it's all rolled into one thing. Another example being, I believe, Fortitude, which is your ability to control emotions, impulses, and reactions, and to resist effects that subdue or bend the will. So that's like your will saving throws.
Okay, cool.
Like that. So yeah, it kind of all rolls in. So are you happy with the other ones, Ryan, or did you want me to read any others?
I'm happy with the other ones.
Okay,
I'm gonna just. I'm not entirely sure yet because I'm gonna put my stats in.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm definitely leaning more towards something like mystification. Because I think my guys are wanting to be very smart, very tech savvy, maybe a bit medical, something like that.
Yes.
And that feels like it really comes in. Because I imagine my idea is like in the far future, if I'm going something down the route of like medicine, there's going to be a lot of screens involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to like hack into them sounds really interesting to me.
Because the thing you've got to remember is in D&D, there's normally a spell to counter things. If you want to go and disguise yourself, you've got a spell. If you want to go and break down certain doors, you've probably got a spell to unlock it or something like that. In this, if you cannot do it yourself through skills, what you're normally going to be relying on is either someone with psionics or some sort of tech, or something like in a modern setting, you want some sort of technology to do it. So if you have all the abilities in the world and you can shoot everything up, and then you're trying to sneak into a place and it's closed and sealed by blast doors, and there is an electronic pad to get you in, unless you've got someone that can hack that pad, you're going to struggle, because you can't just wave about a spell and get it to unlock unless someone's got a very key set of psionic skills. And psionics are quite rare in sci-fi, as opposed to a lot of magic users in. And that's one thing that I'll probably be keeping in mind, is that psionics is a rare ability. Because I always feel like you can have too much of that, and it kind of robs away from the whole idea that technology is a necessity in that kind of setting, when everybody can just do psionic abilities.
I always think, especially with things like psionics in sci-fi, because it's sci-fi, I always feel like psionics should be a little bit scary. Like like if you turned up nowadays, like just walking around and you just saw someone go, you would be terrified. In a fantasy world, like you see a wizard every third Sunday go 7 hells and someone turns inside out. Like, but in sci-fi, No, not allowed.
One of the sci-fi influences I love is Babylon 5, and one of the reasons for that is they have a whole plot line referring to human telepaths. And if you are a telepath, and you'll notice some inspiration for Perils Possibilities here. If you are a telepath, you're identified and you're given a choice. You either take drugs to dilute your ability to use telepathy, or you go to prison. Those are your choices. Or you join the Psychor, which basically indoctrinates you, teaches you how to use your ability. Then you are subject to psionic law, so you have to wear particular identifying markers, and then you are sent out as an employee of the Psychor to go and serve Earth, essentially. But the whole idea is everyone is terrified of them, because the idea is that you don't want to be in a room with someone that can read your mind, because you have no privacy, because everything is laid bare for them. So there's whole laws and whole things involved in that, and a lot of people distrust them. And in my honest opinion, if you're in a sci-fi setting and you come across someone where they're like, they have psionic abilities, but you don't know what they can actually do with that brain of theirs, you just know that it's spooky and it's weird, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. If you know a wizard, you know that they're probably going to chuck fireballs at you. They could probably unlock doors, and because magic is quite a common accepted thing in fantasy, it'd be scary in the actual moment, but the overall idea of it feels a bit diluted. Whereas you meet a psionic, you have no idea what that person can do.
I do hate to interrupt quickly, but Tidus, does the name Mighty Paintbrush ring a bell to you by any chance?
It does indeed. That is our Smeesh.
That is our Smeesh. Smeeshy!
I
didn't know it was Smeesh. Hello!
It is Smeesh. That was the original handle that we spoke with Smeesh on Beyond the Thames under. Thank you, Smeesh. Thank you for joining us. It's not a ridiculously early stream this time for you, so yes. Thank you very much for joining us.
If we do like a second campaign alongside our current one, it'll be an evening UK one, so it'll be like this. So there'll be more chance to catch up.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be like, what are we on now?
7:45.
We're on 7:15, so that's what, 1:45 in Houston. So decent time.
Yeah, basically.
Unacceptable, Smeesh. You must be more of an early bird. Sorry. Anyway, you guys carry on. I just had to interrupt.
Thank you for letting me know that she's in there, because obviously we're I can't see the chat on my screen because it's split between the rulebook and. So, in that case, I'll give you I'll touch on the other abilities that the Jiraki has before we jump onto someone else's choice. Mm-hmm. So we've touched on the skills that they can potentially get the ability scores. Jiraki are also amphibious, so they can breathe both air and water. However, and this is probably the drawback for them, you are very sensitive to dehydration, and you have disadvantage on all ability checks against the effects of thirst. You also need to double the normal amount of water per day. So, pros and cons in that ability. They also have infra vision. I keep saying infrared, but it's infravision. They can see in dim light as if it were bright light, and in the darkness as though it were dim light. However, they can't discern colours in darkness, only shades of grey, so similar to dark vision. They have uncanny readiness, so they have advantage on initiative rolls unless they're surprised. So they're a lot quicker to react in combat. They have genetic knowledge, so they have advantage on any ability checks involving biotechnology and genetic engineering. And they only need to complete a full rest every 32 hours as opposed to 24 hours. So they can go longer without having to do a long rest before they start accruing exhaustion. In addition, at the end of each rest, both short rests and full rests, they regain 1d4 extra vitality points. Vitality points in this system being health points. And they also know Jiraki and Esbar, which is like the common language.
Just checking, the stuff that's to do with the like the bioengineering and stuff like that, not the weapons, the more bioengineering side. I imagine they would fall under skills like science and medicine.
Yes, I think there might be skills pertaining to that specifically, but science and medicine and stuff like that would all kind of factor into it, I'd imagine.
I'm looking at the science thing here, and it says things like exobiology and genetics. So
Yes.
I imagine they'd fallen heavily under that.
Yes. Yeah. It's all part of the culture and how obviously that's been adapted, as you touched on, the world. So in terms of your whole medical persona and that kind of thing, it's going to factor in very well to it.
Cool.
Okay, so we've got Ryan playing a Jiraki. So Dean.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dean, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. So, if you can go to page 17.
Yes, I will.
Yep. I'm not sure how to pronounce them, but the Faraxi.
Yeah.
So, when I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi, the sci-fi I like very particular. Anything with star in front of it, not really a fan. But more stuff like Ergo Proxy, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Outlaw Star. So a lot of kind of anime sci-fi stuff. And I had an idea my original character was just going to be kind of this insectoid bounty hunter person. But when I was reading through and I read about the Faraxi, I really, really liked them. Because it just went from kind of thinking about the characters to thinking about the whole society that they live in. Because they were a primitive species of kind of feline hyena beings, just living their own spiritual animalistic life until these oppressive alien colonizers invaded and basically rebuilt the entire culture. When these left, the remnants of what was left behind was still there. These huge towering structures that began to collapse, these huge spaceships that were leaking fuel, these weapons that, you know, were almost divine. And they kind of rejigged their spirituality with the idea of the machines. So now they have this kind of idea of resonance in places and objects. So you won't just, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we need a new engine, so we're just going to go buy a new engine. No, you need to repair what you have because that's what matters. You need to take care of the engine. And sometimes, you know, the engine, you've done it when you've got in your car, and sometimes you need to just turn the key at the right bit and you need to just get the pedal in the right place. That's because the machine has a spirit. The machine has a resonance. It's not just, oh, you know, there's this issue with the engine. No. This is the engine's personality. And so being one of those would then kind of bubble on to, okay, well, what was the place where he grew up like? What was his elders and his politicians? And it kind of expands from there. And so, yeah, I just really like the sound of them.
Yeah, very, very in keeping for what I'd imagine you'd quite like. And I'm already feeling Kaylee vibes from you for this. For those that are unfamiliar with Firefly, Kaylee is the ship's mechanic that basically talks to the ship and basically treats the ship like it's an actual person. To be fair, a lot of the crew do that, but you know, she's the ability to basically make it work no matter what's going on, and is very protective of the ship, even more so than the actual captain himself.
Very
so,
on that, yeah. Very.
So it feels very, very fitting for yourself. So obviously you've kind of touched on the back stuff and what drew you to the Faraxi. So just to break down what they get. So their type is humanoid, similar to the Jiraki. They reach maturity around 12 years of age, and on average they can live for about 120 years. They can reach 2 meters in height, but their arched posture makes them seem slightly smaller. Their size is medium. Their walking speed, however, is 12 meters. Welcome back, Ryan. Their walking speed is 12 meters. Additionally, they have a climbing speed of 8 meters. Once Dean has allocated where he wants those ability scores to go, his strength and perception scores will both increase by 1. And he gets to choose between 2 skills from alertness, insight, mechatronics, and nature.
Could we just go into a little bit about the Metatronics for people that are not really familiar with the system? Because alertness, insight, nature, you kind of get it, but then when you throw in a word like Metatronics,
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say, what the hell is mechatronics?
It sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
So, mechatronics is technical and technological expertise, including the ability to repair, modify, or sabotage technological devices. It includes mechanics, engineering, electronics, automation, robotics, material sciences, and applied sciences in general. So it covers a wide area of things. It is certainly in keeping for what you've been mentioning, the whole ability to repair and kind of work in with the actual mechanics of the ship.
Yeah.
Did you need another one? The other ones are you happy with?
Yeah, it's just more for everyone else.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of an odd word.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The other abilities they have is they have a longer reach than normal. So instead of having to necessarily be engaged, their melee attacks, their ability to reach with those arms goes to 2 meters. So they can reach and hit you about as far away as they are tall.
Damn it.
Yeah. They also have resilience. They have advantage on saving throws made against effects that make them sickened. So
that sounds quite good.
So any effect that can give you the condition sickened, you get advantage to try and resist it. They also have revengeful instinct. So when they take damage from a creature within 10 meters of them and that he can see, he can use his reaction to make a weapon attack against it. Okay. Alternatively, he can instead manifest a praxis, which is kind of like a cantrip for psionics, with a manifestation time of 1 action, so casting time of 1 action, and that can only target the creature that damaged him. Once he's used this trait, he has to finish a rest before he can do it again. So it says a rest, it could be a short rest, it could be a full rest.
So it's kind of like a sentinel skill, almost, if you're relating it to D&D.
Yeah, essentially, apart from instead of having to be right in your face, this is 10 meters away. So when it says, for example, a weapon attack, if he has got an assault rifle, he can make a weapon attack against him because he's within 10 meters. If he belongs to the psi class and he meets the criteria for being able to use a praxis to damage that person, he can use psionics as a response.
Cool.
So it's kind of like your attacks of opportunity, but a more tailored version that you can use on top of. It'll just use his reaction the same way as an attack of opportunity would. Also has Doctrine of Reincarnation. So he has advantage on any ability checks involving spirituality,
cyclicity. Cyclicality.
So things working in cycles.
Okay, good.
Recycling and reuse.
Those are easier.
Yeah, so very much tied into what he was saying as well. He needs to complete a full rest every 22 hours, so slightly under what humans do. He can also speak Faraxi and Esbar again, Esbar being the common tongue that's known by most of the galaxy.
Yeah, so these things are, these big feline beings who are kind of hunched over constantly, and that's a part of the hype, but also the fact that they have these huge long arms. It's almost, you can see kind of the primitive evolution where they've gone from being on all fours to slowly. It's like when you see the picture of like the monkey and it goes up to being a person. They're somewhere on there. They're not at the person level yet. It's just someone's dropped all this alien tech, and so they're like, okay, we'll start picking this stuff up. And if someone hits them, they kind of just lash out and hit them back. And they have 4 eyes, which is why they're very good with perception.
I mean, that image is, they look great.
Yeah.
It's a cool bit of art, that.
Yeah, whole, it gives me vibes from Horizon Zero Dawn. Where they've got like the hodgepodge kind of machine kind of armor and stuff like that, but it's got a tribal kind of aspect to it.
It really reminds me of the... this is going to be a pull if everyone remembers it. The villain alien from Titan AE.
Yes.
Do you know which one I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a sort of the hunchness for me.
I think aesthetically and kind of the backgrounds, they're very diverse between the Dyraki and the Faraxi. So I think it's a nice kind of contrast.
All the aliens are really distinct. which I think is the art style's beautiful.
Art style is one of the big draws for this game. I'll be honest, I looked through so many different sci-fis. Traveller being a big one, but I've never really been able to get into Traveller. It feels a bit too generic. But again, I've not played it, so if anyone loves Traveller, I'm probably just need to give it more of a chance than I have. But the art for Farsight is what drew me in and got me going on it. As people that will be seeing the book now can probably appreciate and agree with.
Oh yeah, I mean, Amos has just come in, and they've already immediately commented, "What's the fluffy baby on screen?"
That is Dean. That's what Dean's going to be. Dean's going to be that big 2-meter tall fluffy baby that.
No, they mean the art. They mean the artwork. We know that's Dean.
Sure. For some reason, I look at it. It strikes me as it should be small. I don't know if it's because Dean's playing it, and I just know Dean for like Draynog and stuff. Because like the days of Janice are long gone now. Like
I'm 6'4".
I know you are.
I think it's because I usually sit near Harry, and he's much taller than I am. It makes me seem
that's true.
shorter.
Oh, it's worse for Ryan in person. Sat between the two.
Guys, you put me, the one of the shortest people of our group, in between two giant men.
Whereas
they are giant next to me.
Whereas our side is just sort of like a slight decline.
And then I'm playing a small character as well.
One or two characters down, we need everyone else to just dip and just have Dean set up on multiple cushions, just to remind ourselves that he's in fact playing a giant feline man.
To be fair, there's things about us. The average height of these things is my height, so it's just me kind of hunched over with really long arms and I
think it's the 2 meter reach with your arms that is the big
that's crazy. Yeah,
it's like. It's like you're doing a one-piece punch or something like that.
Well, I just imagine it's like when you walk past a cat and you've caught the cat by surprise, so it just lashes out and scratches you. That's the image I have with this kind of thing, where it's still that kind of instinctive, still the primal urge to just lash out at anything that hits it.
Yeah,
so, I like
any cat owners, I'm sure, can sympathise with that. So just imagine your cat, make it 2 meters tall, and make it built like a, it's like a weightlifter that is all spiritual, and that is probably a Firaxi.
By the way, it's so weird because I monitor all the sound that goes on during the stream. It's so weird currently doing a stream with sort of like sci-fi house as the background music. It's quite disorientating.
I'll be honest, when I create settings and stuff like that, I create a soundtrack for it. And going from listening to the D&D one when I'm doing my Perils and Possibilities notes to going to sci-fi is jarring, but not in a bad way. It's just like this is so much different tone than a dark fantasy player.
It's got me fucking pumping, man. I'm ready.
On the subject, Josh, what are you looking at playing? Have you had a chance to look through?
I have, and I think I've come to a decision. I'm just going to get them up in the book quickly, and I think I know vaguely what sort of character I'm going to be playing. So I'm going for an Iridian. Iridian, thank you.
No, you were right. Sorry, I was just saying it off the top of my head. It is Iridian.
Yes.
So we've got that page up. So it might just be worth showing the art on there, and then you give you what's drawn you to them and give a summary of them, and then we'll jump to the actual text for them.
So
I'll go through that.
I'm not hugely familiar with the books. I've not actually read through as much as I know Ryan's studied this thing because he loves this, and Dean's had a really, really good look at it as well and jumped into the lore. I have less so. I've actually kind of picked my species while we've been streaming. So, and it's been quite difficult because I've had this screen up here for the audience and then had another screen scrolling through going, what picks my fancy? But
you've been active in chat.
Yeah, and I've been active in chat too, and running the stream. There's a lot going on, but I'm pretty sold on the Iridian because they're sort of, because coming out of sci-fi is going to be quite difficult anyway. I wanted to go for something that was fairly humanoid in its styling, and even though they're clearly alien creatures, there's an element of familiarity to them. And what I really enjoyed about learning about them in the last sort of half hour that I've been looking at, their appearance is really interesting. It's quite ethereal almost, But also, the thing that jumped me to it was two things in particular. The fact they're placid and peaceful, but the fact that they use things like manipulation, intrigues, deceptions. They aren't fighters, they're thinkers. And I think anyone who's watched P&P can tell I've not really played a thinker yet. And in our home game, I didn't really play any thinkers either, necessarily. So I think
you played a wizard who just got tortured and killed.
I played a wizard who was just hot for a devil.
An evil wizard
Who was thirsting for a devil and eventually got his comeuppance. So I'm feeling going for something a little bit more smart, measured, manipulative, charismatic, that sort of style. And looking through them, that came across. But also there was something in there... Who hasn't thirsted for a devil, though? Okay, fair enough, Smeesh. I mean, when Mizora comes into camp in Baldur's Gate 3, it's like, can we go again? Please, can we go again? She only lets you do it once. It's heartbreaking. But
that's when he stopped playing the game.
Turned off after that point.
He always gets to that one point and just stops. He's never finished.
That's why you drop an auto-save just before.
That's cheap. Shit! Save scumming the Mizora scene. I never thought about doing it that way. That's easily 45 minutes if you use every different option that comes up. But I also really liked something in their attitude, which was, where did it go? Everything they do is so thoughtful. It's sometimes absurdly slow. And there's something about them being kind of aloof and quite almost dull in a sense. Like they're much slower operating than a lot of other humans are. They have this sort of inert authority, but they take their time doing things and they do things properly too. So I kind of like how that came across with them. And also the sort of there's an ambiguity about their sexes as well, which comes with quite a few of the species, but I've never sort of played around with anything like that before. I've always been male presenting or male characters. So it'd be fun to try and mix it up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I believe they have 4.
Yeah, 4 sexes. A female one and 3 distinct male ones. Totally indistinguishable to those who aren't part of the species. So to everybody else, you're entirely ambiguous. Oh, thank you, Smeesh, for the community sub. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Thank you.
But yeah,
thank you, Smeesh.
Having that that sort of ambiguousness to the character and mystery around them, I think can be really fun.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if it's not the kind of character you normally play, and if it's something that you wanted to try as new, certainly a good one to go with. As you said, very good for diplomats and stuff. So it'd be actually quite interesting to see you play the. Well, I was going to say charisma heavy character in this, a will heavy character, if that's the
yes.
Going for. So, with regards to that, then we'll. So the type for an Iridian is humanoid. They reach maturity around the age of 30 years, and they are long-lived, able to reach about 500 years old.
Oh, lovely.
They're between 200 and 240 centimeters tall. So in theory, could even be taller than the Faraxi.
For what?
Just makes you a bigger target, though, when you're out on a battlefield. When shooting.
Slim and skimpy.
That's what we told they're going to be hunched over all the time. To those where, be hunched over doing things and it just like stand up.
Just like,
and just keep rising.
Talking to the frog, just like, hello.
Yeah.
There we
go. And, they have a base walking speed of 9 meters.
Sweet.
We're probably going to be going on a hex grid for this one, as opposed to because it works a lot better with things like the space combat, and in my opinion, is just a better combat grid anyway. But
we can do it with Albert, not a problem.
Yes. Intelligence and will scores once you've assigned, both increase by 1.
Ooh, lovely. I've got 3s in both of those.
So you need to choose 2 skills from erudition, lucidity. I can explain any of these that you need me to. Music and psionics.
So I want to pretend that I have an understanding what erudition is. but I don't really. So,
yeah, for the viewers.
Yeah, for the viewers. Yeah. So we can
So once
educate
these-
everyone.
Once these are assigned and once you start playing, trust me, you'll get used to all these. So erudition, it represents humanistic and classical knowledge. It involves literature, linguistics, philosophy, law and legislation,
Ooh.
theology, history and archaeology, and anthropology, psychology, ontology, sociology, journalism, and so on.
Fucking hell.
So it's kind of the academic.
They're an academic,
So you-
yeah.
Keep in mind, in a galaxy where there's going to be factions, there's going to be governments, and the rest of it, it's not an overrated skill. None of these skills will be overrated when you have a sandbox galaxy to play.
Basically, it's a nightmare for you because every time it's sort of like, Tidus, tell us everything about this with my erudition
honest,
skill.
If there is so much for me to tell you, and there is not somebody that has invested in knowledge skills for me to give you that, unless I've got things like data pads and the rest of it kind of lying around that you pick up in the kind of computer game trope, feeding you that information will normally be reliant on me getting a character coming across you and be like, allow me to basically explain everything to you, crew of really ignorant people.
I'm the expositor.
Yes. So having a character that can basically sit there and if you've got like a wealth of worlds to go to and you're like, we have got enough fuel to get us to one of these, where are we going? They're probably going to look at the character that can tell them something about that world's government, the kind of factions that are in charge, the kind of resources they could in theory get. So if you don't have a knowledgeable character, if you have a crew and you have a ship but no knowledge of what planets are what and where they're allied and all the rest of it, you're flying blind.
Yeah.
So
I'm
knowledge
assuming,
is a big
sorry
thing.
to interrupt, that lucidity is effectively like persuasion.
So it represents the firmness of the mind, the clarity of thought, and the ability to stay clear-headed and resist effects that cloud or confuse thought. So it's a saving throw.
Ooh, okay. And
In terms of,
yeah, go on.
if you're looking for the charismatic skills, you're looking at most of the will ones, which are things like charisma, which is a skill in this as opposed to an ability, cunning, which is kind of like your deception and stuff like that. You got,
But that's something to
intimidation,
look
you've
into a little bit later,
Yeah.
possibly.
got- Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got other ones that are separate to that.
And I'm going to be really irritating. Psionics.
Go on. Psionics.
So
Very
extradition is very much like academics from the World of Darkness kind of system, while lucidity sounds like it's, like we said, it's kind of a willpower. It's your resisting. I mean, if you're doing psionics, it's kind of resisting psionics by the sounds of it.
Okay.
Basically, it's one of the, because there's different skills that tie into different aspects of saving throws. So you
Yeah.
don't have necessarily one skill that covers all aspects of that saving throw. So, for example, reflex covers one thing, but it won't necessarily cover all physical things you have to avoid.
I think I'm going to go erudition and lucidity.
Okay. Do you want to know what psionics is? Are?
No.
No. Okay.
Let it be a secret until I read
Okay.
about it later.
Okay. Right, so we've got those skills. They also have the ability to hold breath. So, I will get these names down. Irradiants are not amphibians, but they are evolutionarily related to aquatic life. You can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 10 plus your strength.
Cool, so 10.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's 10 minutes of holding your breath.
That's
That
pretty
is
good.
Not a bad score. They also have clear mind, so you have advantage on saving throws made against effects that make you charmed.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think these are very much space elves.
I wonder if James will
Spell.
hate this character too.
Spells.
Also, you have psionic vocation,
Ooh.
so you know a praxis of your choice.
Like you said, like
So
a
this is
cantrip.
Like
Sort
a
of.
cantrip. However, the way that Psi works in this is you don't have like the ridiculous spell list in this in terms of length. You have a number of set kind of psionic abilities, and within each psionic ability, it branches into different aspects, so you can kind of power it when you do it. So praxis are like the ones that you can cast more at will. So they're useful to have, even if he isn't a Psi character. Historical knowledge, he has advantage on any ability checks involving archaeology or ancient history.
Amazing.
That will be useful. Resting needs to complete a full rest every 28 hours. Iridians do not sleep the same way as other species do. They rest in meditative state. They are therefore immune to effects that would put them to sleep. Also, if you have psi point pool, you regain 1 spent psi point every time you finish a short rest. So you start accruing them back slowly, even without doing a full rest. And they also know Iridian and Esper.
Iridian and Esper, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome. So we've got the species down.
Yes,
So,
we do.
The next step then, let's get to it, I believe, is backgrounds.
Also, Amos, yes, music. It is all by somebody called Alexander Nakarada. They do the music for Perils Possibilities as well. So they do fantasy, they've got horror stuff, and I managed to find today like 10 tracks of sort of sci-fi-y stuff. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, very good music, and it's good that we've got the ability to do it. Okay, so 34, I believe, is the page we're jumping to now.
Okay.
This is backgrounds. Again, a bit more of a different system than how simple. Go on, what you're laughing at?
I was more suggesting you take music as an option. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and there is not going to be a wasted skill. If you've got access to different skills and you want to use that to kind of ply your way around the galaxy, there's nothing stopping you doing that. And Josh, there we go. So, backgrounds worth having. So each background includes skills that you can potentially get, more languages, equipment, and it also gives you, so normally in the 2014 version you'd have a linked feature for a background. In this you have options of features which you can choose, so you can kind of tailor it a bit. With regards to this, you also have an optional place of origin. So whilst you have a background which represents the kind of upbringing you had, or the kind of society, like the way you worked within that society before the game, place of origin represents the kind of place you grew up with, and it basically gives you access to an additional skill which is added to that list. So it just expands that list a bit more and then gives you an additional potential option for where you want to allocate it.
Okay.
So for example, you could choose to have grown up in a center of power, which would add the socialite skill to the options available in whatever background you go to. A center of knowledge, which adds the erudition skill to whatever list you've got. Rural district, which adds the nature skill. Trading hub, which adds trading. Borderlands, which adds cunning. And wilderness, which adds survival. So even if you choose one of those and it doesn't necessarily give you a big benefit in terms of the skill, it might already be on the list. It can be a help in you working out backstory elements and stuff like that. So it's worth having a look. If one of those kind of jump to your mind, I can give you a bit more information from the book. If you've already got access to it, then just let me know which one it is, and we'll go from there. So same order as normal. Ryan, did you have a preference? You are currently muted. There we go.
It's a tough one, actually, for my character. Because there are some that I think would benefit the character more, like maybe something like erudition or nature or even socialite to a push. But I don't really see my character being someone who is from actually, I very much see my character as like the child of something lowborn, and has through education climbed up the ranks.
Maybe something like Borderlands then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because he's got
yeah, go on.
He's got I think that cunning, or even even like something like rural or Borderlands, I think would work well.
Yeah, I mean, so for Borderlands, it's you come from border territories, disputed and poorly controlled by those who govern them. This makes them a sort of no man's land, places full of opportunities, but rather infamous and downright dangerous. And then rural district is you come from a village or a farm immersed in a rural landscape among cultivated fields, woods, and meadows where people are dedicated to breeding, agriculture, and every other typical activity in a rural environment. So any of those can work. Like I said, it gives you an idea for your backstory, but it also adds the skill to the backgrounds list. So it just gives you it doesn't give you a free skill, like a free point, but it just expands that list. So it can help to add a potential option to the list that you've got.
I'm gonna have a think about that one.
Yeah, no worries.
Let the cogs turn a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. Dean, did you have one in mind?
Yeah, definitely the wilderness one. I think for the vision that I'm having for this character, you know, like I said, it's living in the decaying husks of a higher civilization. So going to be a lot of, you know, wilderness and trees where everything is, you know, grown back from, and them themselves being a much more primitive kind of being, I think works well.
Awesome. So when we get to your background, whichever one you choose, if survival's not already on that list of skills, add survival to it when you pick which two you're going to have. Otherwise, it doesn't give you any other benefit. It just kind of, one, informs your backstory potentially, and two, just gives you access to a skill which makes sense for where you grew up.
So it's kind of like it adds to the draft pool.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah.
So if it gives you 4 options, and then if you choose, for example, raw district and nature isn't on those 4, you've now got nature added, so it's 5 options. It doesn't give you a free skill rank. It just expands that pool a bit more to give you, because obviously if you've grown up in a rural district, it makes sense that you'd have access to nature. Whether or not you actually invested time to learn that doesn't really matter. It just kind of gives you the option.
Sweet.
So we now got Josh's. Have you got one of a preference, Josh?
I do. Yes. Center of power.
Good man.
I think. Yeah.
So
Center of power. I am seeing this character coming together a little bit more in a sort of potentially, possibly new, but also possibly failed statesperson. And
I like it.
Yeah, somebody who swings in diplomatic circles, possibly come from a very expecting family and fucked up, or on the rise from somewhere where he shouldn't be on the rise from. Not too sure yet, but I'm sort of seeing that element in there.
I am loving it though. If any of you do need a rundown, I think I've covered the other ones. Do you want Socialite as a kind of rundown?
Yeah, just a quick one would be good. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, no worries. I've got the book kind of earmarked on it. So
on the skills section now.
Yep. So knowledge and expertise regarding rules of behaviour, good manners, etiquette, rituals on formal occasions, and the right attitude towards individuals of rank, and everything related to social events such as receptions, official meetings, public events, and so on.
Oh my god, so it's like one of those people who informs you what to do before you meet the royal family.
Well, the thing is, if you were trying to do a job of some sort and it involved targeting someone of status and you knew where they were going to be, but that was all, you didn't know anything about the affair, you didn't know how to get in, you didn't know how to pass through all that kind of skill is golden for those opportunities. Sweet. And also building your own kind of political influence in those cases.
Cool.
So, we've got a list of different backgrounds. I'll read the list. And then if you get one that sounds good, we'll go to that and have a look at it. And it'll basically inform the characters. So we've got academic, bureaucrat, commoner, crew member, criminal, engineer, entertainer, highborn, law enforcer, mystic, outcast, soldier, spy, trader, wanderer, or a reroll. In which case, if you roll, so that was just in case you wanted to randomly determine.
Okay. Do you want to do the same order again?
Yep, same order, just to keep things so I know where's what.
I think it's pretty easy to know what I'm doing. I'm going to go for the academic.
You're going for the academic?
Mainly because I read through and there is an exact thing for medical profession.
Very nice.
Which I think is it adds... What I like about the background traits is, yes, there is like an actual ability in it, but there's a bit of like a role-playing option for you. So it's like in the medical professional, it says, As a doctor, this makes things easy to gain trust, and even if hostile, these creatures will be less likely to harm you and allow themselves to be approached. So that, for me, is a really nice sort of role-playing option, because do they have the Hippocratic Oath in the far future?
I think they'll have a version that you'll create.
Yeah. There'll certainly be a variation of it, because a lot of drama in stories kind of focusing on the medical thing is the whole you've sworn an oath to do good, but there's always a situation where it contrasts with the actual realities of the situation you're in. If it's all just kind of Wild West kind of rules for medical, then it's a bit harder to get those stories across.
I will say I said Hippocratic, and I can't quite work it out, but I feel like there's a frog pun in there somewhere. I feel like it's in there.
The Hippocratic.
You've got it. The Hippocratic. The Hippocratic.
Hippocratic.
Yeah, so,
that's so hard to say.
Yeah, so with regards to that, so for the academic, it gives you 2 skills to choose from erudition, insight, inspection, lucidity, medicine, nature, psionics, and science. So you can choose. Obviously, you can't pick the same skill twice. If you got that already from your species, you also can't allocate it again, because the maximum you can get at this point is +1. You also gain 2 languages of your choice, and there's a lot of equipment that you also start with.
Yes.
Which is worth noting down, because equipment is so important in this game, as opposed to necessarily where you can get by with skills, spells, and stuff like that in D&D. In this, the biggest change for a sci-fi, which I feel like everybody kind of forgets to come from D&D, is if someone goes down on planet and you're up on thing, or if you're in a completely different area on the planet, a lot of people think, well, how do I get a message to them? You've got a comlink. So you can just be like, yo, are you there? And just speak to each other and things like that.
I hope you guys know that whenever we talk on comlinks in this game, I'm expecting full hand over the mouth, just like... That's what I'm expecting.
Get your hand away from your mouth.
It's still gibberish.
Yeah. Why did you give the comlink to the Jiraki? The Jiraki just... And I can imagine this just winding up the Firaxis. That's not how you use the comlink.
Yeah.
Do not disrespect the comlink.
I'm gonna keep pressing the wrong button because I've got big thumbs.
Oh Jesus! It's going to be like
the doing this because someone's going to hand you a grenade and then you're going to still be doing it out of reflex.
It's going to be like the sending stone in Die Hard.
Yeah.
As you say, it'll be Johnny English with the pen that blows up.
The exploding pen.
Click it twice and.
For equipment you get on this, you get common clothing, comlink, doctor or scientist pack. I think we know which one you're going with. 2 data pads, a pen and notebook, a knife, a letter from a deceased colleague asking a question you haven't yet been able to answer, and a credit chip with 150 credits.
Question: why?
Yeah. Why did you click in the explosive?
Question: is blood thicker than water? It's just like
it's going to be some stupid thing. It's going to be some stupid thing about human anatomy. You know how like the whole thing, it takes light so many thousand years to travel.
Yeah.
It's going to be some like old meme or something about human anatomy.
It'll just be like, it's gonna be like, you have to work out something to do with human anatomy, but there is no human on your crew, so you're like,
God damn it!
This should be so simple. Okay, so obviously the feature that you choose, or the background trait, you said medical profession.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you want to read that out, just so people get
it says, in almost every culture, healers enjoy widespread respect. As a doctor, this makes it easy for you to gain trust of anyone who needs your care. Even if hostile, these creatures will be less likely to harm you and will allow themselves to be approached if they need treatment. So that's the role-playing element I was on about. That's for like me and you to sort of just play around with, which I think is really fun. But the actual more gameplay point of view is, furthermore, thanks to your experience, a short examination is enough for you to quickly understand whether a drug or similar substance has beneficial or harmful properties without revealing the specific nature or effects.
Yeah.
Which is
there is a line that you did miss. Any
Oh,
malicious
yes.
acts towards them from you or your companions nullifies this attitude.
Which I think is kind of a given. If I was trying to help someone and then they were like, "Here's a gun," I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna get stabbed."
Yeah. I just feel like for D&D players, it's worth stating.
Oh yeah, definitely, because those guys love killing people.
None of us are fighters. We're all lovers in this party so far.
I didn't say I couldn't fight.
Yeah. He watched that'll be one of his biggest attribute things. So
yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna be a mental frog, armed only with a very sharp scalpel.
Oh god.
Oh god.
I'm going to be a very reactive giant cat with a wrench.
Yeah. Me and him are going to be the biggest killers in this group.
I'm going to be a
We'll have
tall,
actual
slender
armed
one with a pen.
professional.
I'll spot someone kicking a vending machine. I'll be like, "How dare you!"
Yeah, we're gonna have like actual like soldiers being like, "Oh, we have to follow the Geneva Convention," and me and him are gonna be like, "We don't."
We don't.
We're just sat there going, "Who's Geneva? Oh, she's a lovely lass."
Yeah.
I got a checklist.
The only
Oh,
tenants that you
Perhaps
two are
gonna
bound
get
by.
Ryan being like, Ryan's going to be like, I can name every bone in your body as I break them.
Yeah. It's the me and him are gonna be the shame meme where he's loading the shotgun. Shame.
Yeah, you live by the Hopper-Crokic oath, and you live by the mechanical oath, and that's it.
Yes.
And both of them
Machines
say
are better than
must
people.
do harm.
Look, if you leave the room and then the light starts flickering, you've obviously done something wrong. That light was fine before. You've done something. What have you done? What did you do in that room?
It's going to be like
I feel
Josh
like-
is sat behind like the pilot controls, and he's like, "Oh, why is the chair squeaking?" And then he just feels a face here, and he's like, "What did you do to my ship?" It's like, "Oh, shit."
I think the what's it called? I imagine that the engineering bay and the medical bay on the ship are going to be through the same door, and it's a very much like you only go down here if you definitely think you have a problem.
Yeah, we're going to be there like, look, we either need to buy a new quantum engine or we need to sacrifice 12 goats.
Yeah. He's going to be making like a proper like cool prosthesis, and I'm going to be trying to find a willing crew member to graft it onto.
Yeah.
I imagine someone being like, "It's really convenient having the medical bay and the engineering bay next to each other, because when I go to the engineering bay to report a problem, I need to make a quick journey to the medical bay, and they're right next door." Why do you need to do that? Well, I get a wrench shoved stuck in my sternum, and then in other places, and the medical bay just happens to be there, so I don't have to walk far.
Yeah.
Anyway,
plan
so
smart.
Ryan, did you choose a place of origin?
Yes, I'm thinking I'm going to go for. I actually think I'm going to go for trading hub. You know,
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay. Not a bad.
because I
One.
feel like my character is very much. I feel like before the start of whatever we do, he's never ever been off planet before.
Nice.
But the idea of him being in a trading hub, like from being very young and watching ships go in and out, in and out, in and out all day, very much like a what's it called? Jim in Treasure Island.
Yes.
Very much like
People come and go.
seeing those constant back and forth bands and just dreaming that one day he could get out.
Watching all the freighters coming,
Yeah.
getting all the trade, going off planet, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
there like,
So I'm expecting you to bring in Long John Silver at some point.
oh, 100%. 100%. And
Legally distinct treasure planet.
yeah, so you Long John Silver? No, I'm Lon Purple
I'm
Simon.
I'm short Gold Steve.
And this is the planet treasure.
You could have that on free time. So you can have short Gold Steve.
Am
I'm going to look
I
back on this in days and plot.
am I going to lose friends if I say that I've never watched Treasure Island? Treasure Planet, even.
You know what's Treasure Planet?
Yeah, Treasure Planet.
Oh,
it's
what a
such a
film!
good-
That's good.
Yeah, it's so
It's
underrated.
probably Disney's one. I would say nowadays it's not underrated anymore because it's become a bit of a cult classic. But it's so
So
sad that
good.
it underperformed
Yeah.
at the box office because it's a phenomenal film.
It's so good, and the music in it is brilliant. Anyway,
Okay.
The makings of greatness in your boy.
such a good. Yeah. Oh, you're giving me goosebumps. Anyway, so Dean, have you got one in mind?
Yeah, if we could go to page 35, some lovely artwork on there as well.
Oh, there is.
Nice, the engineer.
So yeah, as I said already, I am definitely going down the engineer route. Just give you a second to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, awesome artwork there of kind of an exosuit. I won't need one because my arms are already going to be that long. So, in this one as well, I wanted to go down the engineer route, and as you can imagine, it's a lot of fixing things and using cybernetics and computers. But the background traits, because each of these have these different traits to choose from that kind of build kind of what kind of, in this example, what kind of engineer you are. So there was like the astro technician, the person who's on the spaceships and climbing outside of them, repairing things. All right. There was the military engineer, working on defenses and fortifications and stuff. But then I saw the technological affinity, where it's you have an innate responsiveness to technology, and I was like, yeah, sold. That is the character I've got in mind down to a T, where he just kind of knows the machines as they are.
He talks to them.
Yeah, he talks to them, and sometimes he knows that sometimes they just need a conk around the head with a wrench.
So basically, like the Russian from Armageddon.
100%. That is 100% the idea of it. Is like, no. This one's always accidental. You just got to hit them until it works, and then it works.
To clarify, I hit them. You don't hit them.
I got the French dude in Atlantis in my head. The French sort of explosives tech guy.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, very fitting with what you were saying. So for this, you get 2 skills from astronautics, computer, cybernetics, explosives, gunnery, mechatronics, which we mentioned earlier, science, and 0G.
Ooh.
Is it worth mentioning? Is it worth mentioning what astronautics is?
Of course, like I said, I've got the page saved on the skills.
Yes,
so,
Vinny, that's him.
Astronautics. So proficiency regarding spaceships and the management and use of their onboard systems and equipment. It includes knowledge of cosmography, space cartography and astronavigation, onboard procedures, the use of sensors, deflector shields, countermeasures, tractor beams, communication systems, and so on. There was a lot in there.
So no additional languages except for talking with machines.
Yep, but you also get on your equipment common clothing, comlink, technician or scientist pack, a knife, a lighter, fire extinguisher, heavy-duty tools, 10 meters of nanofiber cable, 2 data pads, or datapad/2. I'm not sure if that actually has some other sort of meaning in the actual later book, but for now, datapad/2. The schematics of your still incomplete revolutionary technological project, and a credit chip with 100 credits. It's also worth noting, Ryan, for your one where it said datapad ×2, I meant datapad/2. So I need to read the book in the equipment section a bit, but for now, just write it as datapad/2. Yeah. For technological affinity, it says you have innate responsiveness to technology. Machinery and technological contraptions simply seem to work better if you're the one taking care of them. When something is wrong, most of the time, you just need to give it a well-aimed hit to the right place and everything works perfectly again. Even when you encounter alien or unknown technologies, you always guess what their general purpose is, and if you can't figure it out, you surely know who to turn to for help or useful information.
Yeah, so I think that works really well for like the Phyrexia.
Yes, very, very well. And very useful, because like I said, if your crew gets a ship, you've got a big galaxy to explore, and your ability to be self-sufficient in these different ways is going to be vital. Okay, so now, again, I'm getting the skill list to you guys. Just have a think about what they are and obviously make your allocations and stuff, and we'll summarize it either at the end of this or some other points once you've got it all done. So now to Josh. Did you have one in mind? I kind of think I know which one you're aiming for, but...
Oh, sorry, I was just talking to Smeesh about an evil Ratatouille film called Secrets of Nim. Never heard of it.
Worth a watch.
So, I'm going for the bureaucrat.
I knew it. Yes, very in keeping with. So, what you guys have described as your main things, there are backgrounds which do fit into it. So, bureaucrat. So, have you got a rough idea of which background trait you want, and then we'll summarize it again.
Now, here's the thing, Ty. Here's the thing. I've read all of them now. The art of politics, being sort of able to talk yourself out of things, having that erudite capability to be able to negotiate, sounds really fun. Diplomatic sounds really helpful. That ability to get audiences, sort of to get into those places where you need to be to operate. Oh, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. Yeah, okay.
Hello, Bonnie.
And, but, weirdly, the one that's kind of drawing me in is the state machine. Is the pure sort of civil servant, bureaucratic loggerhead. And I'm kind of seeing the art of somebody who has aspirations to be an art of the politics individual, but is very much stuck in the state machine, but can get shit done. So with the state,
keeping with how you described it, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's a bit stuck. He's a bit buggered. So the state machine, your experience in the bureaucratic field allows you to interact more easily with government agencies or organizations you deal with and get what you need, even if it involves circumventing or bending rules. Wherever you are, you can quickly learn who the most influential individuals are, who to deal with to get favors you need, and the main intrigues currently underway within local power groups. Furthermore, whenever you need to obtain a document, license, or similar item, you're able to bypass most of the required steps and minimize the time required.
It sounds to me like you're like something like a party whip or
yes.
Or like a Malcolm Tucker.
Oh god.
Like very much like just someone who it's like who you might not really be in a super official position, but like the Prime Minister be like, I need this shit done by last Tuesday.
Yes.
Like, so get them on the job.
I'm going pure Malcolm Tucker for this in that case. So I think I'm gonna go for the state machine.
Good man. Right, so what you get is 2 skills from computer, cunning, erudition, insight, lucidity, mystification, socialite, and trading. You get to choose 2 languages of your choice.
Okay.
You also get elegant clothing, comlink, spy pack, datapad/2. Again, I need to look up what that means. Encoder, very important government information contained in an encrypted data chip.
Oh, that's fun.
And a credit chip with 100 credits.
I'm going to be one of those dudes who leaves his data chip on the bus.
Oh, God.
That's where it's all up.
Got a meta plot which stems from this, and you're going to be like, session 1, left it on the bus.
Yep. This is my start equipment, gone.
Do you know what I'm going to do if that happens? I am going to make you a custom sign that says Chaos Gremlin, and I am going to make you wear it.
I will.
It's going to be...
What, like a little dunce's hat?
Yeah, with Chaos Gremlin.
I'm game for that.
Yeah.
I think from those skills...
Again, I can read out any that you need.
So I'm flitting between 3, and I'm pretty sure I understand the basics of them. Computer, cunning, and insight. I think,
so
considering...
Again, you get 2.
Yeah, considering the background, I think I'll take computer.
Okay.
Because I think that fits with the state machine idea. And then... Cunning. He wants to work his way up. He's got to be cunning.
Okay.
And ambitious,
nice.
So yeah.
Amazing. So we've got those chosen. Again, where we're assigning things, if you haven't already decided, we have got time to do. This just gives me an idea of where you're going with things, which is what I need at this early stage. Obviously, at some date in the future, I'll be asking for more cement details, but for now, this serves a purpose. So the next big decision for yourselves, classes. As I said, there are 3 as opposed to the many that are in D&D. You have Delta. So Delta characters are individuals devoted to action, endowed with great endurance and preparation that makes them extremely capable in dangerous situations and in combat. You have the Sigma. So Sigma characters focus on the reliability, effectiveness, and versatility of their knowledge and skills, thanks to which they are able to cope in any situation. And the Psi. So Psi characters exploit the extraordinary potential of the mind, the mysterious psionic power, thanks to which they develop amazing psychic abilities. It is worth me noting, whereas D&D, you tend to have like quite a buffer of health, and you can sink in a lot of hits before you drop.
Do you?
In this, health is a lot, vitality, sorry, not health, is a lot smaller, and combat tends to be more lethal because a well-placed shots will drop you, which is why you need to utilize cover, you need to utilize armor, and you need to utilize things like deflector shields and the rest.
Fuck.
I'm sorry. Have I been wrong? Is our combat in D&D not deadly? Have I been lying? Am I playing a different game?
It's not.
Am I being?
No. I mean, our games obviously, because it's not tailored in terms of the challenge rating matching pretty much most of the situations. In those circumstances, yeah, it's not really.
You're right. 3 character deaths in 19 sessions. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, but how? But we don't go by challenge rating in our game.
I know. Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all.
Okay. Draenog's going to have to start charging for his heals.
I mean, yeah, you should. They're not going to say no, are they?
I mean, those heals kits are expensive.
Yeah. So, basically, the makeup for the class, you got the initial vitality. So that represents your psychophysical health state, your ability to resist damage, and your reserves of physical and mental energy. The class determines the character's starting vitality points pool. Thereafter, the character's vitality points maximum will increase with level. This is just me going off the top of my head. I'm pretty certain that every time you level up, it goes by 1.
Yeah, it's really low.
Yeah. So your initial bulk of your vitality is at this point. Obviously, if the related ability scores go up, your vitality will go up to match. However, this is where you get the bulk of it, and then it's more of a slower progression as you level up.
Question.
Yes.
When it says, so I'm just looking at the first one here. There's not the one I'm big, well, not big, but it says 15 plus strength plus will.
Yes.
I assume strength is the bonus, not your original score.
No, so the initial 3d6 that you rolled, discard. Yeah. So we get rid of those. All of that does is give you your ability score, and your ability score is both your score and your modifier. They are one and the same thing. So if your strength is 2, then that is your strength. So
I get what you mean.
Yeah, so it also gives you initial skills. So the class provides a character with a certain number of initial skills, some specified, others selectable from a list. It also gives you your features. So for the levels, the page on this, if we're not already on it, is 42.
We are.
And then, so to give you an example, so a Delta's initial vitality is 15 plus strength plus will. That's your hit points. And then every level it will go up by about 1.
Okay.
So combat a lot more. It's not a case of run up to a much bigger, stronger thing and basically hope you drop. Well, I mean, you can, but you just got to hope you drop him before he drops you. It's going to be much more of in a situation where a lot of people might rely more on projectile weapons, like either ballistics, blaster weapons, things like that. You're going to want to utilize things like positioning, cover, deflectors. If you've got a decent armor that's going to work, you need it all kind of to help stay alive. So yes,
I'm going to very, very quickly cut in because it's being discussed in the chat. What's everyone's favorite Pokemon?
I'm a big fan of the ghost types.
Oh, okay.
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo is a solid answer, to be fair, Ty.
I just like the story involved. The only artificial, well, within the original generations and stuff.
Yeah.
Artificial Pokemon created against its own will to basically be a domineering force.
I mean, I'm currently playing an Emerald Nuzlocke at the moment, and my absolute G is my Breloom, so I'm going to go Breloom for the time being.
I mean, I'm very, very much Gen 1 and Gen 2, so I don't really know too much about the others. I just know it's gotten ridiculously kind of, got to catch them all, and then every time you do, the goalposts move, and it's like...
Yeah.
Really?
I clocked out a black and white. I've not gone above them.
I have a soft spot for the ones that kind of just look like regular animals. Like, I've got a real soft spot for Bidoof. Like, that's just a beaver. That's just a beaver. Like, I'm sorry, that's not a Pokemon. That's just a beaver.
So it was just part of beaver, and
Yeah.
It's like Pidgey. It's just a bird.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like it's just we have those.
Growlithe as well.
Yeah.
Very much so. Just a dog. Okay, so do we have a rough idea between you three about which of these you want to go for?
I think
I've
so.
got a good idea.
I have a feeling we might all be quite similar.
Yeah, that's fine. That is, like I said, there's only 3 classes, but if you notice when you go onto the class, every other level you get a talent.
Yeah.
That is how you diversify your characters.
Yeah.
That and the fact that you have flexibility in every time you level up, you assign your skills essentially.
It's very Pathfinder-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of things like Dragon Age. I know Josh hasn't played Dragon Age, but Dragon Age where it's you have 3 classes, but then when you go into it, there's different ways that it functions. Obviously, in Dragon Age, it's more geared to combat, but
or another game similar with Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, you get a skill every second level.
I'll explain how the advancement works to kind of put this into context in a bit. But
Smeesha's loving the art, by the way. Loving the art.
Yeah, really good art.
There is so much decent art in this book. Like I said, it was the main thing that drew me into it.
It's fantastic.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I mean, I've only touched on the system, but like I said, this to me is kind of what I hoped 5.5 would be for 5th edition. There are some things that 2024 does that I really, really like. But to be honest, I've not come across a rule yet in Farsight that I dislike. There was an area that I kind of looked at and went, oof, but that was because I hadn't read it properly.
You just wait till we're playing and we're abusing one feature. You're going to hate it.
Stunning strike. Stunning strike.
Which, again, you could get for a talent. But that's how you diversify your character. Yeah, there's an equivalent of it. Talents are how you're going to diversify your class. Anyway, so have we got any in mind?
Yes, I'm thinking of a Sigma.
Okay.
So very much utilitarian.
Awesome.
Go on.
Go on. If you want to read out the Sigma's thing, just to kind of, because part of this is not only to make the character, but to introduce people that have never looked at this game to look at it.
Sigma class characters are experts and specialists with extensive knowledge and practical skills. These are mechanics, technicians, scientists, doctors, pilots, sappers, thieves, smugglers, or any other role involving exceptional mastery and especially reliability. In general, Sigmas make good use of cleverness and expertise to achieve their goals. They can be excellent fighters, but their approach to action is very different from that of the Deltas. In any case, no one is better suited than them when it comes to solving problems and devising ways to get out of thorny situations. Sigmas tend to have unshakable confidence in themselves and their abilities, and it is also thanks to it that they succeed so well in what they do. Sigmas can be independent figures, ready to put their signature where the pay is good and the skills are used in the best way. Or they can work for an organisation or even be part of a crew or a military corps.
Excellent. So a Sigma's initial vitality is 13, plus your strength, plus your will. They also gain basically a list of skills, so they can choose one skill from, there's like a combat list, and then there's a non-combative list, and then there's basically free picks from kind of anything beyond those.
When it says at the bottom, when it says you may get any 2 skills of your choice from those not mentioned in the previous points, yes, I assume that means just the class.
Yes.
So and not all the way back to your
No. So
Just want to double check.
Keep in mind that if you have chosen some of those previous ones and they've already got a +1 in them, you can't raise it above +1
Yes.
at level 1. Yeah. So when it says it gives you a list for the combat skills and then gives you a list for the non-combat skills, when it says you get 2 free picks of any that you want, it can't be from those 2 lists.
Yeah.
So it's diversify yourself a bit. So for Sigma, you get 1 skill from cold weapons, energy weapons, or kinetic weapons. Yep, go on.
So my assumption is kinetic weapons are very much our weapons, guns with actual physical bullets.
Yes, so let's pull this up. So kinetic weapons are proficiency in the use of all kinetic weapons, such as kinetic guns and rifles, so ballistics.
Ballistic rifles and stuff.
Yeah. Cold weapons, proficiency in the use of various melee and shooting cold weapons, such as swords, axes, daggers, clubs, spears, slings, bows, crossbows, blowguns, and such.
So more traditional,
yeah,
kind of fantasy weapons.
Essentially, yeah. Energy weapons are much more like your blasters, blaster rifles and particle beams. And then the other ones that you potentially get are natural weapons, such as claws, punches, kicks, unarmed. You've got throwing, such as stones, daggers, grenades, lassos, grapple hooks. And then you've got wrestling, which is much more grabbing, pushing, shoving, wrestling, things like that. Yeah. So those are kind of your gunnery is artillery weapons, such as vehicular or spacecraft weaponry and land armaments.
I have one question.
Yes.
Going back to my class. Not my class, my species. It mentions something about bioweaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Is that another class, or is that just something that's flavour-wise?
I would imagine bioweaponry would probably, within the context of that, I mean, I'm assuming like you'd have bioweaponry that falls under the category of like grenades. You also have some sort of energy weapons or kinetic weapons, which could also be argued. So if the manufacturing process for a kinetic weapon, for example, I'm just spitballing ideas here, was in some way biotechnical, then you'd get advantage on things like that. If it was something like an energy weapon that has biochemistry, it'd be stuff like that. So I don't know if it would apply to attacks with it, but it'd certainly be with like the ability to understand how to repair it and knowledge about it and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not bioweapon, biotechnology.
Yes.
I misread that. That was my bad.
Yeah, that's fine. So kind of the same thing. So anything, I mean, obviously once we go through and I think the best way to answer that would be to look at the equipment list. Because I imagine it will list things or mention in its description things that are biotechnical. But there's going to be a lot, because if it's a species ability, it's going to tie into quite a few things, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So you gain 1 out of that list to get a +1 in.
Yeah.
You gain 2 skills of your choice from astronautics, computer, cybernetics, explosives, gunnery, mechatronics, medicine, mystification, nature, piloting, reflex, science, sleight of hand, trading, and 0G.
Ooh, very nice.
And then you get 2 skills of your choice from skills not mentioned in either of those 2 lists.
Yeah. I do like the idea of because my guy's a bit tech savvy and having never been off world and stuff. I feel like on one of these sort of planets, like I don't know, the appeal of just an old school kinetic weapon. Because I feel like kinetic weapons, I imagine, are like they're a bit archaic. I imagine.
Yeah. So they're
still practical.
Yeah. So basically, the key kind of difference is that they'll have their own kind of qualities and traits. But the big thing is kinetic or physical damage in this is different than your energy damage. Is different than your I can't remember what the term is for the bleeding damage and stuff like that. But there's different categories, and armor, I think, is. So the way armor works in this is not that it increases your difficulty to be hit, but it soaks damage that you take.
Yes.
Against physical, I think that's on if you've got 4 points of an armor value, it takes all 4 points and then excess is done. If it's something like energy, I think it gets halved.
Yes.
And then I think things like ability to make someone bleed or psychic damage and stuff doesn't apply to armor at all.
I'm just looking at the ammunition here on the thingy sheet just to get a thing. And what's interesting about the kinetic weapons is like they're still like, you know, shotguns and revolvers and things like that, but instead of loading individual bullets, it says that you load a just large piece of plasti metal, which the gun itself slowly takes bits away from as a projectile, which I think is a really cool feature. So like instead of like putting like bullets into a revolver, you just take out the chamber and put a new one in.
So something like if you load a magazine on, and then instead of having individual bullets,
the magazine slowly
off parts of the magazine and fires that.
The magazine slowly like lowers itself in.
Yeah,
that's
and
a really fun idea.
Reload, it's already gone because the gun's just spewed out. Yeah.
Oh, jams would be awful in that.
Yeah, it would. But then that's why
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go kinetic weapons definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so have you got two choices from your skill list?
Let me just scroll back up quickly.
Yep. So just while you're having a look at the skill list and you're having a think, I'm going to jump to Dean so he can have a look at which one he wants, and then I'll jump over to Josh.
Yeah, I'll definitely be going with Sigma as well.
Yep, no
as the ship's engineer, I feel that works really well, and it specifically says as well for mechanics and technicians. And he'd be definitely going down the cold weapons route.
Cold weapons.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, so cold weapons. Nice. So much more kind of your standard kind of swords, shivs, staffs, things like that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Again, you got that same list. You couldn't choose a skill that you've already chosen before, but you do get 2 from it. And then you also get 2 from the overall skill list that isn't included in either of those 2 bullet points. So have a think there. I'm just going to get Josh's one, and then we'll cycle back around and have a look at things like the class features just to explain them.
Yeah.
At first, I thought I was going to follow suit and go Sigma. However, I'm going to go pure into the mind and go for Psi.
Good man. Good man. So, if you want to give a read of what Psi is for us.
Of course. Psi class characters are individuals capable of manifesting the power of their mind, and this gives them extraordinary abilities. However, being able to master psionic powers requires constant exercise and an iron mental discipline. For this reason, Psis give up versatility to focus on the use of their mysterious psychic potential. Often, however, possessing psionic abilities also turns out to be a curse, placing those who possess them in a difficult position toward people who do not. In fact, normal people are not infrequently led to be wary of Psi individuals and to fear the strange and dangerous powers they possess. Psis can develop their abilities through formal training or self-taught, starting from innate spark. In any case, sooner or later, anyone who demonstrates the ability to use psionic powers attracts attention, and whether they want it or not, this gift radically changes their life.
Very nice. So I imagine whether or not it is one of the key factors that might have influenced your inability to land in politics or in that kind of diplomatic arena. Dealing with people when you have psionic abilities would probably make people more keen to either use you or avoid you, which is probably not saying it has, but is potentially it could have fed into the reason for why your character's not being able to make it on the bureaucratic stage.
Stuck in the civil service. Yes.
Because no one wants you to get higher.
But if people think they can abuse you, then you can manipulate them. And that's where his strength comes from.
So, for this, you get the fortitude and psionic skills.
Yep.
If you already have either of those from your previous picks, you can replace it with one unlisted on the next point.
I do not, so it's okay.
You also gain 2 skills of your choice from alertness, charisma, cunning, erudition, insight, inspection, intimidation, lucidity, medicine, nature, science, and socialite.
I'm going to go insight and inspection.
Okay.
Amos, I'm just not vibing with you at the moment, am I at all, Amos? You want me to take intimidation? I get it, but I think he's sneakier than intimidation, which is why insight will be so important. And I feel as well, being a a career civil servant up to this point means in terms of inspection, he's up there. He's one of those irritating, like I've worked in pubs for 12 years. He's the health people who come over and go, this door is a millimeter off of being up to regulations. You get a black mark here, and sort of he's one of those people who's just, he loves to put people down with detail.
Is it one of those health inspectors who comes in, opens a bottle of olive oil, and is like, "This is greasy."
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's made of oil.
This is a trip hazard. Well, it is if you put it on the floor. It's a trip hazard. Why?
I don't think our characters are going to get along if you're like, oh, this door is not the right shape, and I'm like, I found this door and I rescued it. I've taken this door with me through multiple ships. Just carry stuff under his arm, dragging it.
You may have rescued it, but it's not up to code.
He's like, let me see
the drama begins.
Let me see that code, and he just throws it, and it's like, and he just pulls out another data pad, like it's still there. And I'm like, but I got rid of it.
We got a hipster and a busybody.
Are you actually going to... I was going to say the techno stuff. Are you going to be like, I'll have you know this door is a 3078 Mark II techno door. This is vintage.
This door
you have a
older
thrift
than you.
store on a planet somewhere.
Yeah, you're the tech equivalent of like a Carhartt collector.
Like, he doesn't buff things out. The dents add flavour and history to the item.
Oh my god!
Like the welding marks aren't clean.
It's got authentic patina.
You can smell the history leaking off it. It is stunning.
Oh god,
Exactly. 100%.
Where was your first combat? Who did it involve? Oh, just the group against each other. What happened? The Phraxi bought a door. The Iridian didn't appreciate the door. Then the Jiraki got involved. They were bleeding on his floor.
Someone slapped him on the back, so he hit them with the wrench.
Yeah.
Lunches were flying. Needles were being inserted. Psychic powers were going haywire.
Look, they came at me chanting some awful tune, and they had a ball of fire, and it was like, "It was your birthday." I didn't know that.
He's scared of birthdays. Excellent.
So I can expect this every year? Dear God, why do you hate me so?
I think Fortitude, Psionics, Insight, and Inspect. I'm assuming Inspection is that sort of like, it's almost like
it's like
investigation sort of thing, yeah.
For the D&D equivalent. Obviously it touches on a bit more like your awareness of like individual things in your environment.
Of course,
kind of trades in with aspects of perception, but obviously the skills can trade out depending on the situation.
Yep.
So I'll touch on the abilities for the Sigma and the ability for the Psi, since we've got both.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously your skills you need to assign if you've not already done so. For the first level for a Sigma is assured outcome. So starting at level 1, you can choose to use this feature when you make an ability check involving one of the skills you possess. If you do so, you roll only 1d12 and automatically consider the result of the other one a 12. So you're automatically assumed to have one of your d12s roll a 12, and then you're just rolling the other one. Once you use this feature, you must finish a long rest, or finish a rest before you can use it again. So that can be a short or a long rest. Starting at 5th level, you can use it twice and 3 times at level 15. It's worth noting that because one of your dice is considered to be a 12, if the other one succeeds, or after rolling the other one, it's a success, it counts as an exploit. So the value of the die that you rolled becomes the number of exploit points, so it basically makes your success awesome. And you can obviously enhance it with the expenditure of those points. Also, at level 1, you gain expertise. So you choose 2 skills that you possess. Whenever you make an ability check involving one of these skills, you can decide to re-roll one of the d12s of the check after seeing the result, unless the result is a 1. If you re-roll a d12 in this way, you must accept the second result, even if it's worse than the first. When you reach level 7, 13, and 19, you can choose one more of your skills to apply this privilege to. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So those are the 2 things that you get at level 1. Obviously, then at the second level, you get talents. Level 3, you get a different feature featured into Sigma, but whenever you get the talent is when you start bringing in what would normally be class features in D&D into your class to make it more utility, make it more customizable. Like I said, you could have a Sigma if you've got the correct ability scores and skills that has rage, that has different things. As long as you've got the skills and the other bits and pieces needed to add that talent, there is nothing that stops you from adding that talent to your associated chosens. Okay, so for the Psi,
yes.
So for first level, you gain psionic powers. So much of a Psi's potential comes from their psionic powers. So you gain Praxi. So Praxi are minor psionic powers that you can be manifested without expending Psi points.
Ooh, lovely.
You know the number of Praxi listed on the Praxi column of the Psi table, in addition to any other Praxi you know from other sources, such as racial traits or talents.
So I've got one from my racial trait, I believe.
Yes, so you got that already. So then you gain additional ones based on your chart.
Cool.
So powers. The number of psionic powers you know depends on your level, as indicated in the powers column of the Psi table. You can only learn powers that belong to disciplines you have access to. Furthermore, every time you gain a new level, you can decide to replace a power you know with another of your choice, always belonging to one discipline to which you have access.
Okay.
It's worth noting, obviously, the number of powers or the number of access to powers you have seems smaller, but each one of those powers is like a multi-tool of different powers.
Sweet.
So it's like you have access to one or two spells in D&D, but that spell is used in such variety of ways that it counts as many other spells.
Okay, so it's like a Swiss Army knife ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you start spending powers, you allocate the powers into certain functions. So it's like you choose a power, spend the points to individualize how that power is cast.
Cool.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
On the subject of psi points, you have a pool of psi points equal to 6 plus your intelligence.
So
This pool increases by 1 for every level you gain beyond first level, and whenever your intelligence score increases by 1. You spend psi points when you manifest your psionic powers. Finishing a full rest restores all spent psi points. Also, for your species, I believe when you have a short rest, you get 1 back anyway.
Oh, it's like a monk with key points.
So, psionic limit. Your psionic limit indicates the maximum amount of psi points you can spend when manifesting a psionic power.
Okay.
The value of your psionic limit depends on your level, as indicated in the PL comment of the psi table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe that you can, in circumstances, again, this is me just going off the top of my head, use more than your limit, but it causes damage to you.
Okay.
So you could, in theory, I believe, supercharge your power, but you are going to start feeling that hurt.
Yeah.
Again, that's off the top of my head, so I need to confirm that closer to the time. Level 1, you also gain discipline. You gain access to a psionic discipline of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You gain access to other disciplines of your choice. When you reach 7th, 13th, 19th level, disciplines are described in chapter 5.
Cool.
So that's where we'd go into all of that.
Yeah.
So that is those characters. Let's see what other steps, if there are any for your characters. I believe there are.
Honey, what's this? Bonnie's just told us about something. In the last D&D session I played, I pushed someone into the docks when we were going to board a ship, and once we had got onto the ship, spent the whole time trying to tell people the wrong names and locations off everything just to add chaos. Love that energy, Bonnie. Love that energy. You'd be more than welcome in, what do we call ourselves the other day? The rock boys.
The rock boys, yeah. So, right, so we've done background, we've done class. Level obviously is going to start at first level. So alignment works slightly different in this. We won't go into the full ins and outs. We'll give you guys time to have a look through and think about it. So the way that this works is, instead of having your 9 square kind of grid of lawful good, neutral good.
Where are we for alignment? Sorry, Tidus.
So at the moment, let me just go.
It's about 66.
66.
Yes.
Cool.
There's lots of like different. What are they called? Are they talents?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a massive list of talents, and they really end up defining what your kind of character is beyond kind of the just the base class.
Oh, is it the disposition wheel we're looking at,
Yes.
Tidus?
Yes. So basically, the disposition where it works is slightly different. So you'll pick an area which falls into things like order, chaos, community, impulse, individuality, and reason. And that is the thing that is most important to your character, or that guides their kind of moral or their priorities. And then on the wheel, the ones closest to it are the areas of the disposition points that you most resonate with that aren't your own. And then the further around that wheel you go are the things that you probably will come into contest with more. And then the one that's directly opposite your place on that wheel is the one you're most likely to be opposed to. So I don't know if you've got it on screen for what page was it? 66?
66, yeah.
Yeah, so let me jump to 66 and I'll show you. So,
so if you as you can see on the screen, if you resonate with chaos, you're the opposite of order.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the way that this will work is, if obviously, like using Dean's example of chaos, things that are going to resonate with a chaotic character are things like regeneration, change, adaptation, luck, chance, fugacity. There we go. Freedom, evolution. The ones that he'll probably aren't like his core, but the ones that he'll probably sympathize most with are individuality and impulse.
Yeah.
The ones that he might kind of come into conflict with now and again would be reason and community, and the ones he's most likely to object to are order. Again, this isn't like you have to role play them this way. It is basically a less kind of two-word summary of
less
your
linear.
Yeah, so it's helps to guide. So if your character is an impulse character, what are the things that are likely to go into be key to them? And you can look at the list that's associated with impulse, and those are probably going to be the things that are more key to your character. Again, don't have to be, and that wheel can change over time. You can also have things like peculiarities. So it recommends that you give your character at least 2 peculiarities. So it can be something like, I'm passionate about astronomy, things like that. So not something like I'm smart, because that's represented by your ability score. It's something that just makes your character feel a bit more unique. It's, I'm terrified of spiders is one. Mm-hmm. Things like that. Again, all of these can feed into when you're playing your character. It gives the GM, or hopefully where we're going, the audience, more excuse to start chucking edge cards at you, because every player can have 3 in their hand at once, and they reset at the end of the session. So they really need to be given out and used. And if it's left to me, that's not going to happen often enough, which is why I want to give it to the audience to be able to fuel that antics. So yeah, you need about 2 of those. You need one ideal that kind of drives your character, similar to how it works in D&D. It can be something like a rule of life, a vow, an existential principle, an oath, a creed, ideology, or philosophy. A bond for your character, about who do they care about the most, what place do they feel the most special connection, what's their most treasured possession, things like that. And the flaw. One or more flaw for your character that is basically something that's obviously going to be in conflict or enrages them, what others can't stand about the behavior, what their vices are, what they hate deeply, things like that. So we don't necessarily have to get those now, but it's worth having a look at that disposition wheel, thinking where you could fit on it, and then on top of that, things like your peculiarities, ideals, flaws, and bonds. It's worth you coming up with, because I will ask for them later on.
Okay.
It will help me. The only other thing that it suggests, a second aspect of the disposition wheel, is where do you fall on your moral compass? Are you more good or evil? Now, if your character is in between the two, it could be both, neither, whichever one you want to. But if they lean more to one than another, it doesn't stop you from acting the other way. It's just more of a guide for yourself. And it also helps inform me, because if I've got a group of evil characters, I'm not just going to chuck only good plots at you. I'm going to chuck, more things in keeping with your character. So it's worth having that indicator.
You know us, we're evil. We're all evil.
Not necessarily.
We're not evil.
Yeah.
So you will also get to, so going beyond that point, again, I'm just glossing over this because this is more stuff that you need to think about in your downtime and give it back to me later. You will need to choose equipment. So your starting equipment is given by your background. I will also give you a certain amount of credits that you can spend on additional equipment, including weapons, armor, and other gears. I'll have a think about how much to give you. It kind of depends on your group. And it also depends on the kind of starting situation I want to. If you guys are going to be in a situation where I start you, for example, with a ship, maybe you're in massive fucking debt, so it makes no sense for me to give you a shitload of credits to go and buy luxuries. On the flip side, maybe you don't have a ship yet, but you have a lot of equipment to yourself and you need to figure out how the hell you're going to get off world. So it will be dependent about starting situation. So we'll cover equipment later. Just make a note for yourselves on whatever documents you keep in, that obviously I need to assign credits. I'm going to make my own note. Okay, credits for what step was that? Step 6. Step 6. Okay. Boom. Okay, so assuming that you have kind of worked out your attributes and your skills, and where they're going to go, including the species buffs that you would have gotten. Your vitality points are worked out based on your class. You should have already seen the math on there. You have a death threshold. Character's death threshold reflects how hard it is to kill them on the spot, and it's equal to 10 plus strength plus will. So my understanding, based again purely off of my brain power, if we get closer to the time this is wrong, I do apologize. It's me trying to summarize a book succinctly without skimming through to check. This kind of works like, I believe if you take damage in excess of this, you can take things like traumas, but if you get dropped to 0 vitality and you take damage that equals your death threshold or exceeds it, it'll auto kill you.
Okay, so not dissimilar to sort of...
not dissimilar, apart from where with D&D, the equivalent of death threshold is always equal to your maximum hit points. So when you start getting to the levels where you got like 100 odd hit points, the chance of you ever being one hit killed is negligible.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's always going to be a maximum of 22.
Oh, fuck, what did I just do?
Because the max strength of will you can have is 6. So add those to your 10, that's your 22. So if you ever get hit with something that drops to your 0 and is going to deal 22 in excess points, it's probably going to one hit kill you.
Okay.
Your defense for your character is equal to 13 plus dex.
Shit.
Other elements such as talents, class features, and equipment can generate bonuses or penalties to your character's defense.
Okay.
So it's worth again noting, armor by default, from what I recall, does not change your defense. What it does do is give you an armor value which lowers the damage you take when you are hit.
Yeah. So you will get hit, it's just the armor will actually, soak some of that.
Yeah.
Things like cover, deflection bonuses, and features from your class are what will make you harder to hit.
Okay.
Initiative. Your bonus is equal to your dexterity score. So again, like in D&D, that's part of the check you make. You can tell what he's put in his dexterity.
Yeah.
So your carrying capacity is equal to 20 plus strength times 5.
Oh, God.
Don't worry, you've got a big brain.
So,
that's all you
so
need.
20.
25 actually, but it just feels negligible. So initiative, what was the base number for initiative, sorry?
Dexterity score.
Oh, fuck. Cool. Yep.
So if you've got 1 in dexterity,
0.
then your initiative is +1.
Cool. All right.
Okay. So
what's everyone's
that is
vitality
kind of-
points?
14.
Oh, is he
What's
got-
yours?
15.
Hey.
Nice.
So-
Mine would be my strength. So it's you'd be vitality points is 13 plus strength plus will.
Yeah.
For Sigma, yeah.
So just to touch on this one other point for you, I mentioned again I was going to touch on how advancement works in the game. So as you can see from your table in your class, every time you level up, you get whatever it says there, whether that's a talent, whether it's a feature related to your specific class. Also, your vitality maximum goes up by 1. So it'll go up a maximum more of 19, assuming that you don't raise the ability scores associated with your hit points. This is where it diversifies itself from D&D a bit more. So when you level up, you get 10 advancement points, which you can spend in the following ways. So you can increase by one of your ability scores by spending a number of advancement points equal to double the current value of that ability score, minimum 1, up to a maximum score of 6. So for example, if you're increasing an ability score from 5 to 6, it costs 10 advancement points.
And if you're doing 1 to 2, it'd be 4. No, 2.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, every time you level, you get 10 advancement points.
Sweet.
Again, you can only increase an ability score by 1, but you could improve multiple ones.
Sound.
As long as you've got the advancement points to spend. You can increase the bonus granted to one of your skills by 1 by spending a number of advancement points equal to the value of the bonus you get, up to a maximum bonus of +6. So, for example, if you're increasing a skill from +2 to +3, it costs 3 advancement points.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot raise a single ability or skill by more than 1 point per level, and there is no limit to the number of different abilities or skills you can increase. If you don't spend all of your advancement points, the ones you don't use will add to those you get next level.
So they roll on.
Them and you bank them and keep them on.
Okay.
Remember but my one rule for that is a common sense one. If you bank them, you can only then spend them next time you level up. You can't be in the middle of a combat and be like, I'm going to spend these points and buff skills and stuff. So at that point, so the only thing is, level advancement does not allow the character to acquire new skills in addition to those they obtain at level 1. However, because the character can learn new skills by spending their downtime for this purpose. So if you manage to find someone that can train you and get you that first rank in a skill, you can then start spending advancement points.
Right, okay.
So it'll be a case of finding someone that can train you how to do it. Probably have to spend some credits and some time with them.
So all our skills at the moment will be level 1?
Yes, it won't be higher than +1 at this point.
That's fine.
So you've got the ones that you would have chosen from your species, you've got the ones that you got from your background, and you'll get the ones that you got from your class.
Yep.
And that will give you your initial array. And then, like I said, every time you level up, there is nothing that says you cannot buff any one of those skills, provided, one, you've already gotten the initial rank from a trainer or someone that can give it to you, and provided you can really justify why they've got it. If your character has spent the entirety of his level pretty much in diplomatic circles, or then going away and hone them in their mind stuff, it probably doesn't make much sense that all of your weapon skills suddenly increase by 1 if they picked up a weapon. So yeah, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it, so your character can just be as diverse as you want them to and stuff like that.
Cool.
So yeah, that I think we'll leave it there. We'll go with as it is. Obviously, I've got a bit of building blocks to go on. I've got species, the classes, backgrounds, which is the big important one. I do need to get dispositions from you guys when you can, just to give me an idea. Obviously, look over the areas which we've glossed over, like the additional languages, which skills you want to choose, and a background in general. And we'll go from there. For people at home, and I'll ask Dean if we can get this put into whatever Farsight place we get on Discord. It's worth keeping in mind that we might chuck questions at you about like what sci-fi you like, or even if not sci-fi, what kind of stories do you like looking at? If you could go visit any particular planet in the universe, whether it's good or bad, describe it, the kind of things like that. It can help kind of inform the galaxy we're creating at this early stage. So we'll probably check some questions and get some input from people. One of the big questions we will be asking is, based upon the edge cards and kind of how I've described them, how would you want it to be that the audience can get those cards and divvy them out to players that isn't too lenient but not restrictive? If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
we're sort of in a few different places. So obviously, like, one of the thoughts initially was subs, but that seems a bit exploitative to just be asking people for money to
I don't wanna do
impact
that.
the game. So we're not as
Yes.
keen on that. It'll be probably like channel
Channel
point
points.
redemptions, that sort of thing. Obviously, can't pump loads of them into it because there's limits. So we'd have to limit it somehow. Amos, how can the audience make things worse for the players?
How can she make things worse for the players? I'm sure that she'll come up with some ideas.
3 wrenches to toss
or
in,
you
says
guys
Mighty
come up with some
Paintbrush
more.
Smeesh.
I'm sure
Yeah,
between you
sounds
all,
good.
you'll figure something out. But
So I think channel point redemptions, it'll probably be quite a high channel point redemption, just so you've got 16k already, Amos. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fair play. But we'll probably do it quite high because it's only limited to a number per person per session. We can't have just, people doing it for 100 points, like constantly spamming it.
Yeah.
Thing
Bonnie,
is,
how do you find that out? So, Bonnie, when you're watching the stream, I believe it's in the bottom. Am I right, Dean? It's the bottom left is where your channel points is. So where the chat bar is to the left of where the chat bar is. It will say how many points you've got. Whoa! We've lost Tidus.
There we go. I'm back.
Yep, I have been looking at channel points and how they use them and how they can have limits on them. And it's something I've kind of discussed with the group, and it's things we're working in the background. How quickly people can earn them, and then trying to work out they can be redeems, and then they can limit them to how many per session. So it might only be so many edge cards per session or something.
Well, if it's 3 per, then we can limit it to 6.
Well, it's not 3 per session. A player can have up to 3 edge cards.
So we could limit it to 18 a session in that case.
Yeah. It could also be stuff like on Discord. We can have, once you've got your disposition, your ideals, your bonds, your flaws being a big one, and your morals and stuff like that. Once you've got that, if we've got that available on Discord for people, if they're there watching us live, they could easily say, I think that this person's acting in, what is it? They should get an edge card and stuff like that. Because the idea is, heroic inspiration can carry over in sessions. So limiting it every now and again, not a big thing because they can always carry it over. In Farsight, every player can have up to 3 edge cards. They're encouraged to use them because at the end of the session, they lose all of them and then they're meant to get them again. Whether or not we throw that away and let them have the chance to keep those edge cards, I don't know. I don't know whether or not they made a purposeful decision to remove the edge cards for some reason. Maybe it's because they can give themselves advantage just by burning the cards, and if they can just carry them over, it's I don't know. But we'll have to have a look. But I ideally like the people that are watching to be able to actually influence that and keep an eye out for some good role play and the rest of it to kind of give those points out.
10k. Nice, buddy.
Very nice.
Do you know what? After that Pokemon chat, I'm half tempted to stream doing an Emerald Nuzlocke. Read out again.
Do it.
Might put it out on Discord if people are interested. See how badly I do on that.
But what I do recommend for people is join the Discord if you haven't already and you are interested in this stream. Again, to reiterate, this isn't one we're doing now.
No,
it's one that's going to follow D&D, our normal primary show when we reach the conclusion of that. It's being plugged now because I need that amount of time to work on it, and that also gives you guys time that if you come up with ideas for things that could influence it, if you've got suggestions for the kind of sci-fi you like, if you've got ideas for NPCs that could be in this galaxy, Discord is the best way to relay that, and I can factor it in. Now's the early stage while I'm working on it. That is the best occasion to try and help me with regards to that. If you do want to have an impact on it, if you're happy to just wait for it to come up and watch it or not watch it, then by all means. But this is the invitation from the GM/DM of that stream to get involved if that's what you're interested in doing. So yeah, by all means. If you've got any questions or anything, feel free to shoot that across to us in Discord if you haven't already checked it in the chat. Otherwise, if you want to reiterate for us, Josh, the timings and stuff for when we go back to
Of course, yes. So as I said before, this Sunday, the 5th, there won't be a session of Perils and Possibilities just for Easter. So go and enjoy your Easter. Have a lovely meal with your family, or sit in and watch something that you really enjoy, or catch up on all the Perils and Possibilities that you haven't quite watched yet. That's a really good way to spend your time. So we won't be there on the 5th of April, but we will be back on the 12th with the main campaign.
Yes.
And I think we are going to publish this on YouTube as normal on Wednesday, 5 p.m, and on Spotify, 5 p.m. as well. It'll be on a different playlist, but it will still be in the main feed. And also, just from me, thanks for everyone for being so chatty. It's a little bit different today, a slightly different stream, but it's been lovely to have the chat kicking off and lovely to talk to you all properly and get you involved and get your opinions on things. So thank you. I've had a really good time doing this, and I'll be honest, I am far more interested in this than I thought I would be, having done the character creation now. I'm quite excited. Good.
I mean, like I said, part of the beauty of the role-playing thing is you can play in types of worlds and different settings that you wouldn't normally go for. There's a lot of, I'll be honest, when I originally picked up role-playing games, Vampire and Star Wars sci-fi was it. D&D was this big monolithic thing that everybody makes sound really complicated and had to be played in a very specific way. And I liked certain fantasies, but I wouldn't want to ever run one. Now D&D is kind of like my big one, but you never really know until you try it. And if people's kind of, if they like certain types of stories, there's no reason those stories can't be told in a different kind of setting, with a bit more kind of scope, because it goes beyond. So yeah, there's ample opportunity for it. The rules are close enough to D&D that we shouldn't be, sink or swim. We're trying to learn it very quickly. And as we've said, the artwork and the options available are very, very wide and versatile. So hopefully we'll get some characters that you guys like and want to keep them going. Very, very keen to see these 3 characters. You're going to have the mechanic, you're going to have the doctor, and you're going to have the politician that's psychic. Yeah, I am actually very, very keen to see these characters. I'm also very keen to see what the others come up with.
I will say these characters, with the descriptions we've all given them, I've been having a look in the past weeks, can all be quite easily made on a miniature making site whose name I will not mention until they sponsor us.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So you know who you are. You know who you are. Sponsor us, and then I'll plug you.
And we will plug you solidly, much as we do with the Rogues Retreat. Don't forget about the Rogues Retreat, everybody. Go and come on, play the banner. Play the banner. Fuck, banner's not playing. There we go. 10% off the Rogues Retreat if you use the code Perils at checkout. Honestly, like I was looking the other day, some of their art is awesome, and you get 10% off their art. So yeah, go and use them. It helps us on the stream, and if you can, it's always massively appreciated, any sort of subscriptions or just following us and just enjoying the content that we put out. The shorts will be going out this week as well. Callum's just done the subtitles for them, so I'm going to finish this, edit this, and put all the shorts up in a minute. But yeah, follow us please, we love it, we love your support.
Yeah, if you do see a shot that you like, pop it over to a friend. If you think they'll appreciate it as well, because there are some genuinely funny moments that I'm really glad got captured.
And they take so long to make, so please watch them.
Like we said before, we are a very small stream, guys. That's okay. I mean, the main appeal for us doing this is that we get to play D&D together, and we're just, opening it out to other people to watch it. We're largely playing it in the way that we enjoy. But if more people would like it, the only way that they're ever going to know about it is word of mouth from people that are sharing, liking, subscribing, everything else that comes involved with the YouTube territory and Twitch areas and stuff. So if you do like what we do and you're happy to do that, great. If you don't and you just want to watch us yourselves and can't be asked to kind of go through the rigmarole of all the rest of it, that is also great too. We appreciate anyone kind of watching, or even if you just join our Discord and you don't actually watch any of it, come and socialize. We're very social people. Discord will only get busier the more people join it.
Yeah,
is what I'll say. And obviously, as we go on and we do other one-shots and we do other little streams, we will hopefully expand. And if you've got ideas for that, join Discord, tell us.
Let us know. We always like ideas.
if we like it and it's something we have access to and it's something we could feasibly do, there is nothing stopping us from trying to do it, because the biggest incentive there is that people would watch it because you're recommending it. So, by all means, come join us, come be social, and we'll give a Bicky to you and Jeff Cake to Josh, and go from there. Yeah, I know you.
You ruined it. We had a lovely 2 hours and 45 minutes, and you've ruined it.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thank you to you three for joining me at short notice to try and get this done.
Always a pleasure.
Had a good time.
Thank you.
Had a good time.
So now what's going to happen, aside from the other information I need to get from you, you guys won't get pestered anymore. The others
Great.
will get pestered even more.
Yes.
So,
Let it be known that this is my current character sheet. So this is all I'll be bringing.
Mine is bigger but more chaotic. Equally chaotic.
You'll find that you have some more inherent sheets for this, because there's the core character sheet, there's the psionic sheet, there's the ship sheet, there's different types of
The ship
when
sheet.
you get a ship, there is a character sheet for the ship involving
The ship
the
sheet.
kind of things it
The
can
ship
do,
sheet.
the layout, weapons, positions, things on that. So that becomes a character sheet in and of itself. So yeah. Also, on the subject of, you mentioned about a thing that we're not plugging with regards to miniatures. I've now got to look at ship miniatures. So,
Oh God! In a few
so
years,
I'm-
Tidus. In a few
There's
years.
loads out there.
I'm really looking.
There's so
forward to
many
that.
good ship miniatures out there.
I really like it, because it's one of those ones where you look at it and you're like, you have to plan ahead on how you're going to do things, because you might accelerate your ship and think that's great, but you don't choose to move your ship each round. If it goes at speed, it will continue to go at speed in a direction until you turn it or slow it down, and then you have to kind of guide your way around the combat battlefield to bring like other ships into your arcs of alignment and stuff like that. It gets really, really good. Well, no, you're not. You can just yell orders at people and
I get ignored the whole time.
Well, I don't know. You have psionic abilities, just like force choke them until they agree with you. Yeah, do that to them. It doesn't actually do anything, but they're paranoid. So
You feel good.
Or give yourself a migraine.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, guys. This will go out as per the times, and we will see you on the 12th. So take care of yourselves and rejoin us for Perils and Possibilities now that we've had some developments.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much, guys. And
See you later, guys. Thanks a lot.
Happy
See you
Easter
later.
for those
Happy
who
Easter.
celebrate it.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.